Sup, 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 sup. How's it going, y'all? What did I say? Caribbean Carnival? Did I put it in wrong? I don't even know. Don't even matter. What's up, guys? How we doing? Is that me on the hoverboard? It is. I'm floating around looking for my wallet. Lost it. You burned your finger. What happened? Smoked the cigarette all the way down to the butt. Listen to all your videos all the time. Even though the story is supposed to be scary, your voice is relaxing. Hey, no worries. That's the point of it, right? The juxtaposition of feeling spooked and relaxed at the same time. You're not going to get that anywhere other than here. Listen to all your videos on the Spy Pet work. Thanks, bro. Thank you, guys. Thanks for listening. I'm thankful for you all. Alright, but we got fairground carnival stories tonight. Probably some creepy clowns in there somewhere. Been a minute since I joined one of these. No worries. Yeah, we can... And depending on how many people roll in here, we might be able to just kick it off faster than normal. My friend said, what's weird is it just... As I turned this on, I fell asleep a few days ago smoking and burned my right forefinger, middle finger. Oh, shit. Yeah, I think once it gets down to the filter, you gotta let that bad boy go. Hey, Matt Garrettson. What's up, bro? Where you been? Don't tell me in jail. Do I go to raves? I do not, no. Hello from the UK, 4 a.m. Nice, yeah. What are you doing at 4 a.m. in the UK? You waking up? You going to bed? Obama. What's up, Zam? Hi. Is a UFO Let's Read in the works? You know, I haven't heard from him, honestly. His channel's from the UK, and he was talking about getting something going. Maybe I need to just reach out to him. See what the plan is. I'm sure he's been quite busy. You think of doing any streams outside of recording the stories, like gaming or something? It'd be fun to watch. I did actually do a gaming stream last Saturday. It's on the streams playlist. If you want to check it out, I played Reanimal, the Little Nightmares spiritual successor. Have you seen 20 Years Later, The Bone Temple? I haven't yet. No, I feel like 28 years later, I waited until it came to like DVD. You know what I mean? When's the next Urbex video? I will definitely look into it, Sam. Are they your favorite? Do you do any Urbexing, Sam? And are you still going to the gym? 5 a.m. was just about to sleep, but Noti came first. Now you gotta stay up forever. Forever. What's up, Sonomi? I got lulled to sleep by the game Stram. Nice, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Am I still working on Twisted History? No. Twisted History has been discontinued. They sent me to the gulag. No, I'm just kidding. It's all good. It's all good. Am I sick? No, but I did have like a weird spell on Monday. It was the strangest thing ever. And I had no idea that I had any issues or anything like that, but so like Monday was a friend's birthday, right? And we go out and drink and stuff, but you know, I told myself I was just gonna drink beers because I really wasn't trying to, like, you know what I mean? I hate mixing beer and liquor. It just pisses me off that people always want to, like, you'll be drinking casually and people are like, shot, and it's just, you know, you can't really pace yourself, and you know, I throw up. That's how it goes. But anyways, so I just stuck to beers, but then I was good. And then later that night, I like went to a gas station, got a fucking two wraps, right? And then all of a sudden I had like the absolute worst, like upper quadrant pain in my right abdomen, right under the ribs, and it like radiated to my back. And it was like the worst pain I'd ever been in. It was terrible because I like, by that point, I don't know, it like started, like after I got home, I like ate, everything was chill, and then it was like after I ate, and then it just like kicked off, and it was like just the most pain I'd ever had, and it lasted for like a solid fucking like 4 to 5 hours. Yeah, and I think I figured out that it was a gallbladder attack of sorts, you know what I mean? Where basically I was like so dehydrated from the alcohol because I had not eaten since before the gym that day, you know what I mean? Sounds like an air bubble, not quite. But it was like, it was so fucking painful. And yeah, basically the idea is that you're so dehydrated that whenever you eat, you expect your gallbladder to release like bile to help like emulsify fats or break up fats in digestion. I mean, the gallbladder does a lot of things, but then if it was like dehydrated and like sludgy or whatever, it's just going to cause obstructions going through like the gallbladder duct to your digestive system, which is just something strange that I never had issues with before at all. And so now, you've had the experience before, Buggle. What did you do? Because now I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just like completely cut everything out. No energy drinks, no fucking fatty foods, really. No, I'm just drinking water and hydrating. And, I don't know. It was just very, very scary. When you're sliding into first and you feel bubble burst diarrhea. I wish, bro. Yeah, it's best to cut fatty fried foods. Yeah, I mean, that makes total sense. It's just weird because I never really, I don't know. My diet's not terrible, so I really didn't expect like any real issues like this for quite some time, I guess. Gallbladder issues can also cause terrible diarrhea. Well, I've got like the opposite of that. I don't know. Cut my sugar intake in half as well. Okay, yeah, I guess, yeah, I just got to go back to maybe like a healthy ketogenic style diet. I heard gallbladder pain is one of the worst. I've been told my mom is worse than birth. Dude, I was like crawling around. It was really bad. Like I felt like, at first I thought I was having like a heart attack because I don't know, it was just like really crazy. And I'm, was going on walks. I was like ready to fucking cry. And eventually after like hours, it just like went away, and it still kind of lingers there, like under the rib, like the discomfort. And I'm just trying to like get the digestion going. But I've been having that pain since Friday night. ER 2 times. Doctor can't tell me what's wrong. I'm still in so much pain. Oh. Did you get it? Yeah, did you do an ultrasound to see if you had gallbladder issues? Yeah, period. It's probably my period. Hope you're having a good night. I'm sick with RSV. Oh, damn, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's just weird because I'm like, if I have gallstones, is that just how it's going to be forever? Is there any way to like break up the gallstones, or do I just literally have to like change my diet from this point on? Similar pain to kidney stones. I crawl in the ER with kidney stone pain. Yeah, I've heard that's like some of the absolute worst. I don't know if it was just like a constant like glowing red pain, aching sensation of like maybe a 6 to 7, and that like right quadrant / back. So lemon water. Lemon water's the best way to go. Okay. Is that just like help dissolve things, or what's the deal with that? My mom went to the hospital last week for major stomach pain and had a gallbladder to ultrasound yesterday. Oh, okay. Weird, dude. Is everybody getting hit with the COVID-19 gallbladder post syndrome? I think there's a way you can break gallstones. I've seen one called Stone Breaker. Oh yeah, I guess they use like sound waves or whatever to break them up and shit like that. Do I take any supplements? I do now. I ordered some like bile salts and stuff for like digestive help, and I'm just gonna like really try to revamp the diet to, I don't know, not irritate the liver, not irritate the gallbladder, not irritate the pancreas. Just try to fucking actually eat clean. Was this from your second mom's B-Day you said you went to? No, this was another one on Monday. I guess I did, yeah, I did drink on Saturday too, and then drinking on Monday. I don't know. I just don't do well with drinking at all anymore, even like lightly. I just get screwed. So, fuck it, dude. I think I'm done with that forever. Once you get one stone, you're more likely to have another, so they removed my gallbladder. Go to the ER if you're still in pain. I thought I had heartburn for 4 days before I finally went to emergency. Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just terrified to have any surgery or anything. Fuck, man. That's so annoying. I'm not getting fucking surgery, dude. Can ultrasonic break gallstones down? You have the risk of getting pancreatitis with larger gallstones, which is... You have a risk of getting pancreatitis with a large gallstone, which is really awful. Oh, yeah. They say all organs are fine, like medically nothing wrong with me. EKG, CT scans, X-ray, blood tests, all came back normal. I'm dying of pain. Weird. What the hell? That's so strange. Does it affect you hearing all this stuff people go through that send into? I can't imagine being sent all the traumatic stuff for the vids. No, I guess not. I don't know. I just turned my brain off to it, I guess, and it's just part of the routine now. My body refuses to let me eat dirty. Fried foods and sugary food make me feel so sick. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I guess I just got away with it for so long. I mean, I don't even really do it too much, but, man, yeah, I don't know. IDK. We are reading Fairgrounds and Carnival Stories tonight, so should be interesting. Fairground food is what can do this to you. Please drop the beats. Oh yeah, shit, I closed it. Sorry. Her name is Closey. I think I played her on here before, but she's awesome. She's got some great sets. Link that for you there. Drop the Saturn Soul beat as well. What's the Saturn Soul beat? The intro song? I don't even remember what it sounds like. It'll happen after you eat when the bile is being ejected, or the bile is being ejected from the duct, and when there's a stone in there, it makes the bile duct actually spasm. So is the only way you like have to break up the stone, otherwise you're just going to keep experiencing that discomfort, essentially. Does it still do its job, or are you just kind of like Scrooged? What happened to the bird sounds? I don't know. Some people were saying it was like waking them up, so I was like, oh shit, okay. Shout out to your son Leo Miller. Hey Leo, what's up, broski? Doctor didn't want to give me pain meds. They looked at me like I was lying and I just wanted morphine and send me home with omeprazole. I seriously have so much pain, I'm shivering and nauseous. Damn, I feel like they missed something. They had to have missed something, right? They checked everything. They checked your blood, and none of the enzymes popped up. That seemed, I mean, you got to go somewhere else, right? Looking forward to the stories tonight. Help me sleep. You got it. Sorry, hurt and Joel. Everyone else with physical pain is no fun. Hello, hello. No worries. Gallbladder pain sucks. It made me throw up before. Yeah, I'm just... So, just out of curiosity, did you get better? Or, like, did you say you had to have your gallbladder removed? Or, sorry, I'm just... I don't know. I don't want to go through something like this. It's just so fucking stupid. The buyer will go buy it, and sometimes you'll pass it upon your own. It's a lot of... the buyer will go past it, and sometimes you'll pass it upon your own, and it's a lot of pain, but if it gets too big, it's definitely worth getting an ultrasound to break it up. Pancreatitis is no joke. Right. Yeah, that could be the end-all, be-all, honestly. You probably have to get it removed manually, and once you get the stone, you're more likely to have more. Yeah, what the fuck? That's so strange. Hey, thanks for fixing your ads. Hey, no worries. Yeah, it was weird. It's like I'll set the ads and then I'll go back to the video later, and then the video will be filled with them, and I don't know if it's like a glitch on YouTube's end, but it's really annoying. I was told to get it removed. I didn't. I just managed with the herbal supplements, diet changes. Yeah, because I mean, like, the purpose of the gallbladder serves way greater purposes than just emulsifying fats and stuff. So I'm just like, dude, there's no way. You know what I mean? There's no fucking way I'm just gonna, like, remove the fucking thing. The bile duct, rather, will continue to put out bile past the stone, which causes a spasm. The inflammation will cause you to have pancreatitis. Oh, Jesus. Oh, shit. Okay. So just, yeah, continue onward, or I don't even know. Went to a small ER, they didn't help me. Went to a major hospital, they treated me worse, like I'm lying because my result came back. I have another doctor appointment Friday, this is killing me. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. That's insane. Do not remove your gallbladder, worst decision you ever made. Yeah, what's it been like since doing that? Is it just like diarrhea all the time then or something? If you remove your gallbladder, you won't make bile. The effects seem more miserable. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, fuck it, dude. I'll figure it out. I don't know. I guess this is just a wake-up call to be like, and get my shit together and not eat cancer food anymore. Same pain I just described. That's so weird. It's weird that a few people experience it all around the same time. Like, what the fuck is that about? You make bile, you just can't make bile in advance. You gotta make bile on demand because you go nowhere to store it. Right. Jeez, yeah. Oh boy. Hey Jennifer, love you too, good to see ya. Water is good. I recommend easy meat like poultry or fish, and some fruits and vegetables are good. Certain ones may upset you though. I can't remember which. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Eating clean, I guess. Should have been doing that since the fucking beginning. It's just so annoying to think that, like, being dehydrated during a period of, like, drinking, and it wasn't even, like, liquor, it was just beer, you know? Like, that's what fucking got me. I completely changed my diet, cut out beer and soda altogether. I lost 35 pounds since January. Well, there you go, yeah, that'll do it. I guess it's time to get on my cut. This is what you take out for your gallbladder. Yeah, it might not let you link things, but you can type it out if you want. I live in a small town in the United Kingdom, and all I can say is that it has hill in the name, and therefore every year the town council do this oh-so-ironic sort of thing of hosting a crappy street carnival that we all jokingly call the Nothing Hill Carnival. Get it? Hilarious, right? Almost as funny as Thanksgiving. In fact, I'd actually prefer that. Well, I'm just being salty because of what happened to me there. I used to have a good laugh there, even if it sucked balls, and was a bit of a laugh with my mates, a good excuse to buy some overpriced handmade tats, look at nice parade floats, all three of them usually, and get a bit tipsy. Now this year, in 2014, I'd recently started dating a new guy, now my husband, James. And he was my boyfriend at the time, but I know I'm going to slip up in the story and call him my husband, so you get the point. Now I went to the carnival with James, and there were some decent cheese stalls this year actually. James is a cheese fan, and I've been known to partake in the devil's milk from time to time too, so we spent far too long sampling different cheeses. And I kid you not, we spent over 80 quid on cheese that day and nearly 20 quid on bread. There's this one local farm that just makes the most insanely good cheese. Now anyway, this isn't important. What is important is that we were lurking around the cheese counter when the parade started. The first entry in the parade was a local marching band, and holy freaking sugar babes did they suck. They were all these old fellas wearing what looked like 1940s marching band gear, and I guess it was some tradition that they do in conjunction with the local museum. But some of these old boys, playing the bugle and the French horn and things like that, and they looked like they were about to drop dead. They tried their best, bless them, but imagine a group of pensioners marching along under the blistering sun, playing marching band instruments. It sounded about as good as you'd expect. And so good, in fact, that I whipped out my phone and started filming them, because damn, this would have made for a good content back then when you were still allowed to make fun of people in a nice way. And I wish I still had the video, but my entire phone got smashed that day for reasons you'll soon find out, and the video hadn't uploaded to iCloud on my local town's then crappy 3G back then, so yeah, lost media, I guess. Now, I was so caught up in filming these old duffers giving it their all that I didn't even notice something my boyfriend had done. He was looking at the procession following behind the marching band, a group of tumbling, cartwheeling clowns. And by tumbling, I mean struggling, and by cartwheeling, I mean some of them could do it, sure, but half of them look more like lads who'd stumbled out of the pub and were accidentally doing acrobatics. Now, one of them was proper good at it. He was kind of a big fella, so I didn't expect him to be as spry on his feet as he was, but he was doing these sort of front flips and all sorts. It was absolutely fascinating. And that's who I thought my boyfriend was pointing to at first when he kept tugging on my elbow and telling me to look. But no, it was another clown that he wanted to check out. This other guy was thin, a lanky lad with a bald cap and green tufts of hair above his ears. Something about his gait seemed familiar, and he came pushing and shoving through the parade of clowns, storming in our direction like someone over here had actually pissed on his VHS tape of Killer Clowns from Outer Space or something. And he shoved a trumpet player out of the way, who let out a sort of goodness me and came barreling right for us. And that's when I realized that we were this bozo's intended target. He stormed right up to us in these huge clown shoes with this crappy face paint dripping down his face with sweat, clumping up on his dark facial hair. He accused me of moving on from him pretty quickly. What is it? Accused me of moving on from him. What does that even mean? Sending you positive energy, thank you. What's up, Dispy Michelle? How you doing? Why wouldn't you be able to make fun of someone in a nice way? I don't know, I guess you just go to the jail or something. Since I discovered my A1C is 7.4, I've been paying attention to the sugar content in items I consume that aren't sweets, and I'm thoroughly shook. Why do companies put so much sugar in products? I guess just to make you sick and give you cancer, right? Diabetes, cancer, make you a permanent patient, make you addicted to all their food, and make it so that you don't live long enough to actually get your retirement money. That is the goal. A multifaceted, multi-generational conspiracy to kill you and every American around you. Isn't sugar addictive? It is, yeah. Especially the high fructose corn syrup shit. Yeah, and the government subsidies for corn syrup, it's crazy. I remember seeing something crazy about the CIA putting fucking nanites and shit into Pepsi and Coke and products like that, nanoparticles of sorts. I wouldn't be surprised if that's legitimate. Listening with one hand. Nice. I didn't know your hands had ears. And rising costs of healthcare, so those at the top all profit from our bad health. That's nonsense. Matt, can't a boy dream? Can't we just dream that there's evil out there beyond just feeding us shit and trying to make money off of our dead bodies? Pepsi or Coke would dissolve any of the nanotech with a half hour. Oh, okay, yeah, good. You've been doing experiments at home. That's where you've been. I started drinking my coffee black recently before I lace it with a teaspoon of sugar. Yeah, I would drink every day fucking rain energy drinks. And honestly, who knows? I mean, that might have been fucking up my liver, fucking up other who knows, dude? You really don't know what you're doing to yourself slowly if, like, the majority of the ingredients you consume are a list of chemicals from a fucking dumpster. We saw today that the government has sent people back in time. What'd they find? How did they even do that? What did you see? Hey, Daniela, how you doing? He accused me of moving on from him pretty quickly. Oh God, no, surely not. But there it was, my ex-boyfriend, Am. Now his definition of moving on him from... Now his definition of moving on from him pretty quickly was certainly an odd one. We'd broken up nearly 2 years ago. James wasn't even the guy that I dated since then. I told him it was a long time ago, and then he got all sad. He said he'd never gotten over me and that I broke his heart. And then he did something even more unexpected. He quoted that freaking Notting Hill scene, that famous one you might remember. Only remember, he was dressed as a clown, and he also didn't get it right. And from the best of my memory, this is what he said. I'm just a guy, hanging out with a girl, asking if she'll let me love her. I did probably the worst thing I could do. But he dressed like a half-assed clown, and I hadn't even thought about this guy in years. He was a brief college romance from what I recall, and so I kind of just laughed in his face, to which he responded by reaching in his back pocket and producing a jar of a very cloudy liquid and quickly unscrewing it. Now he said something like, if I was going to laugh in his face, then how would I like this in my face instead? And for a second, my mind went somewhere gross. But when he took the lid off the jar, I could sort of smell it. A caustic, burning smell. Now remember that other clown I mentioned? The larger lad who was actually acrobatic and putting on a good performance? He was right by us now. Now James, bless him, hadn't quite worked out what Am was going to do. He moved to tackle him, and I remember saying don't, like I think he's holding acid. And the other clown, whose name that I'd find out later was Len, had already realized something bad was going down, but when he heard this, he came leaping out of the crowd right towards me, and I felt him slam against me just as Am threw the liquid towards me. I suddenly felt a burning sensation on the shoulder of my t-shirt, and I immediately ripped it off. Only this... Oh my God. A fucking pocket acid bath from a clown. I think it's called a lithotripsy. Is that what it is? Lithotripsy? A non-invasive medical procedure that uses high-energy shock waves or lasers to break kidney, bladder, or ureter stones into tiny fragments. Oh, maybe not lithotripsy. Maybe it's something else, like something of that nature. Milk thistle supplements help your liver. I would know since I damaged my liver for years of heavy drinking. Fuck, yeah. I think there was the stuff that I got, it was like called like Dr. Berg's, bile salts, biliary help or whatever, but I think it had milk thistle in it, as well as some other stuff, so I don't know. Time to lock in, I guess. No more bullshit. It just sucks because, like, leading up to those issues, like in the morning, I remember I had, like, sausage wrapped in pancakes with a bunch of butter and syrup, and, you just don't think about it because you're like, oh, I work out all the time, or I do my cardio, and blah, 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 and it's like, too bad, fucker. You had a beer today, you die. Your friend used to drink all the time. He got so many stones till he quit. Damn. Yeah, I guess that's one thing. Dose for your liver you can drink. It's turmeric, milk thistle, dandelion roots, and some other stuff that helps. I wonder if anything like actually breaks up the stones internally. It's pathetic, but what got me through to stop drinking was the massive price increase in my country. Yeah, maybe sometimes taxes. That's the only way taxes help. Drinking beer is a moral failing, duh, exactly. Genetics and existing in the world, entropy. Yeah, true. I guess, yeah, just being around long enough, eventually things will start to break down. Watching that on Netflix, Joel, called The Unexplained, they build a time machine showing proof that they have time, travel in time. Interesting. I still feel like, wasn't it like if you were traveling through time, it would be just like existing on a different timeline? Like the current timeline you exist is just a point in time, and to go through time is really just to maybe almost in some ways create a different timeline or something. I heard boiling corn silk in water and then drinking the water can dissolve them. You should look into it, and it doesn't hurt to try. Boiling corn silk in water. Interesting. Matt, you're raining on everybody's parade, dude. Let us just believe in our fantasies, man. You're turning into a real Redditor, man. I suddenly felt a burning sensation on the shoulder of my t-shirt and immediately ripped it off. Only a splash had hit me, and I'll tell you now, thankfully whatever substance Am had cooked up, which we found out he'd stolen from the chemistry lab at the school that he worked as a janitor, wasn't that potent. But it was potent enough that it caused some genuine damage to my bare flesh, and particularly my eyes. It didn't hit my face though, it hit Len's. Len, who it turned out was wearing thick homemade grease paint that he swore by in his career as a clown, compared... Oh my god. Sticky... Okay. But what about the Dow Jones? It is at 50 million right now, so... do whatever you want. Tips Fedora. My flavor of autism does not allow me to remain silent when someone is wrong about things related to physics. Did you say you went to school for physics? I know you said you were big into science fiction. Matt, watch the series. There are photos and documents showing that. Very interesting. Watch it, Matt. Watch it. Maybe you're naked. What if we all laughed at you and pointed and said that you were naked, Matt? What would that make it so you're naked? Wart. Wooga wooga. Len, who it turned out was wearing thick homemade grease paint, then he swore by in his career as a... He's compared to, though, in his words, sicky crap. What is this even saying? God damn it. Who it turned out was wearing thick homemade grease paint that he swore... I don't even know what the fuck this is saying. Len, who it turned out was wearing thick homemade grease paint that he swore by in his career as a clown, compared to the, in his words, sicky crap that they sell at circus supply shops. Now, I don't fully understand the science, but I know the makeup that he used involved a combination of water-based lubricant and baking soda, and he swore by it for makeup that wouldn't ruin... Is that gaslighting? Yeah, but Matt's gaslighting us into thinking that time travel is not possible, so... Who's the real gaslighter in this scenario? We're just trying to be happy. I'd like to believe in parallel universes. Hopefully the other me's are having a better time than I am. Yeah, maybe. Maybe slightly one parsec better. I don't fully understand the science, but I know the makeup he used involved a combination of water-based lubricant and baking soda, and he swore by it for makeup that wouldn't run in the heat. It also meant that the acid, instead of destroying his face, was almost neutralized by the damn grease paint. He did end up with a few small scars, especially around his hairline where the grease paint met the wig. But Len, who is now a lifelong friend, is some kind of genius, I think. He kept his eyes shut, screamed for something to wipe his face with and some water, and he quickly asked me to soak the t-shirt and use that to wipe his face clean, and it really did manage to negate most of the damage Am would have done. Meanwhile, as all of this was going on, James was acting as my hero in another way. Now, I don't want to be one of those wives, but my husband's a bit of a hard nut, especially back then. So he was beating the absolute living crap out of Am, who, let's not forget, was dressed like a rubbish clown. And at one point he had Am down on the ground and was genuinely concerned that he was going to end up getting murder charges for curb stomping this guy. I mean, if someone had tried to acid attack him, I'd probably have done the same thing, but, I yelled at him to stop and dragged him away. And thankfully there were so many bystanders and witnesses, including the local bobbies, that James really didn't risk much. Am was comfortably convinced not to press charges in exchange for a bit of leniency in the charges against him being dropped down to something a little less serious. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about that. The guy tried to permanently scar me for breaking up with him nearly 2 years ago. But hey, you take what you can in the legal system, I guess. Now, he did go to prison, and he's probably out now, but thankfully I have a restraining order against him that my lawyer ensures stays renewed and active. And so to Am, I hope you've become a better person, because to me, you'll always be a steaming pile of crap and an insult to clowns everywhere. Well, the fact that he just pulled a chug jug out of his back pocket, is that like when you go to do your clown routine, is that something you bring with you just in case? In case any of you kiddies got out of line, I can burn you. Oh, bother. I'm gonna run this through. Fix this grammar, don't change. You can get gallbladder stones from fasting or really strict ketosis diets. My uncle got them from ketosis diet. Damn, dude. So you think maybe that was just building from me doing my fasts and doing keto? That's so annoying. What the fuck is anybody supposed to do? What did humans do in the past whenever they couldn't eat for long periods of time? Why did they have to make that atrocity of a sequel to Joker? I guess just to say that they could. Do I do a water fast? I mean, that's what I would do whenever I would fast. 24 hours or whatever. And it would feel good. I would feel light, and eating always was amazing the next day. But it's just weird to think, was I just dehydrating myself the whole time to the extent that stones were slowly forming or something? I don't know. Did I go to Ash Wednesday? I'm not Catholic. I know some people were saying they were giving up Let's Read for Lent, which is a big mistake, guys. You don't want to treat Let's Read as a little sweet treat sin. It's part of your routine, part of your prayer. Pre-bed prayer. So I'm a big horror buff, as you can probably imagine, since I'm a longtime subscriber of your channel. Love your stories, the scarier the better. And when I was a little kid, I used to persuade my babysitter to let me watch my parents' horror collection on VHS, or have her bring tapes over herself. I'd promise her that I wouldn't have nightmares, and I never did. I handled everything perfectly, except for one freaking movie. One movie that terrified the absolute living crap out of me and gave me nightmares for weeks. If any of you have seen it, you're gonna laugh your asses off. Ghoulies 2. I guess at least it wasn't Ghoulies Go to College, but still, Ghoulies 2 wasn't even freaking serious horror movie, really. It's a comedy horror, and not exactly the most celebrated of entries in the venerated Ghoulies franchise. Now, I won't explain the whole damn movie, but it involves a group of little critters, the Ghoulies, and one of them is a little bald green fish dude with sharp teeth. The movie takes place at a fairground, and there's a scene where a clown is on one of those dunk tank attraction. Dunk tank, da tank, tank. Dunk tank, da tank, tank. Where the hell am I? Discovered that my dad, who was town sheriff's deputy, was going to be up in the... Oh. Okay. Ash Wednesday actually stems back to the cartoon Recess, where the Ashleys wore pink on Wednesdays. Ash Wednesday. Ash Wednesday stems back to the cartoon Recess? That has to be a joke, right? The movie takes place mostly at a fairground, and there's a scene where a clown is on one of those dunk tank attractions. You know, the kind where you throw balls at a target and knock the person into the water? In Ghoulies 2, the clown gets dunked and the fish ghoulie bites his arm off and then kills him. Now somehow in my stupid kid mind, this was what the dunk tank at a fairground was supposed to be. Some kind of device where the person getting dunked was at least under threat of being murdered. And I guess I thought that the tank usually had piranhas or sharks or something in it. God knows, really. Now I was about 6 when this happened. I was horrified and completely mortified to discover that my dad, who was the town sheriff deputy, was going to be up on the duck tank at the local fair. Now, I couldn't tell why I was so horrified. I asked him why he'd risk his life like that, but he didn't seem to understand what I was saying, and I was too scared of getting busted for watching Ghoulies too, so I guess I couldn't really explain myself very well. I wasn't the most logical or eloquent. Okay, jokes. Your teeth are missing? What happened? Fat Tuesday is the last day before Lent. Catholics party hard. I wasn't the most logical or eloquent kid. Now the night of the fair comes and I'm absolutely crapping my pants at the idea of my dad being dropped into the tank of piranhas or sharks or ghoulies. And I kept crying that night until Mom threatened to ban me from the fair, and I knew that I had to attend just in case there was something I could do to save my father. Now watching with horror as they filled the tank and he climbed up onto the seat. The tank was about 8 feet high, so neither I nor anyone else could really see the monsters that I was certain lurked within. Now I got this genius idea that every time someone would take a throw, I'd cough or sneeze or make some kind of noise to disrupt their aim. Now this actually seemed to work, or maybe some people in my town were just terrible shots, or they were just too afraid to dunk the sheriff's deputy. And the whole thing was just ridiculous. Dad was dressed up like some sheriff clown, and he had this Stetson hat on and this huge ruff around his neck that meant he could really do anything. Let me zoom in a tad. The tank was about 8 feet high, so neither I nor anyone else could see the monsters. I got the genius idea. The whole thing was ridiculous. Dad was dressed up like a sheriff clown. He had this Stetson hat on and this huge ruff around his neck that meant that he couldn't really do anything but look forward. And the whole point of being the dunk clank... Oh my god, dude. And the whole point of being the dunk tank clown is you're supposed to goad the missile throwers into hitting you. Every time Dad chided them on, I remember saying no and doing my best to disrupt their aim. In the end, a local guy realized what I was doing and joked with my dad that his kid was trying to save him from his fate. Now somehow I got it into my head that this meant that everyone, including my father, knew that it'd be the death of him if he fell into that water. Why would he even agree to it? I was baffled. I had no idea what to do, so I crept around the back of the tank looking for a solution. Now, sneaking through the bushes, I saw 3 teenagers. I knew that they were trouble. They had a reputation as bullies, and even my older sister, who was their age, didn't always keep the best of company, had also told me that these guys were bad news. I watched them from the bushes for a bit, and I realized that they were piercing the tank with what looked like knives and allowing it to drain into the large drainage ditch that ran along the edge of the trees lining the carnival. One of them said something like, "This'll put a stop to that monster." And in my head, I was thinking, finally, someone else who knows. And these guys know about the ghoulie, and they're going to help my dad out. And then one of the teens turned and saw me. He started to look angry, but immediately I assured him that I wouldn't tell and that they were doing a good thing. I think I even thanked them, and this made them laugh a lot and continue hacking away at the back of the tank, letting the water flow out even faster. Now remember, the tank was around 8 feet high, so nobody playing the carnival game could see the water level lowering, and I didn't realize this at the time, but the rough Dad was wearing as a part of his clown costume prevented him from looking properly downward, and thus also noticing the dropping water level. Now the teens told me to keep quiet, and I said, "Don't worry, you've saved my father." And they looked at each other very confused like. Now I didn't understand this at the time, but I ran back around to the front to witness what? I'm not sure. So you're telling me I'll be able to communicate in New Orleans? What are you talking about? Also, have you guys, that was kind of funny, it's like such a pointless, meaningless thing, but I saw this streamer, I think his name's like Dean or something like that, but I don't even know, he was saying some pretty rude things to Larry Wheels' girlfriend, and then Larry Wheels slapped him very hard across the face. That was pretty funny. And then for whatever reason, like Rampage Jackson is just like in these videos to like help mediate and commentate on all of it, which is just funny. And then there's also another one later on, like another UFC fighter, and this Dean guy is like talking trash to him, and then the guy actually like clocks him across the face and like knocks him over, almost knocks him out or whatever. I don't know, it was very satisfying. I don't quite understand why people are always like looking for fights with people. Maybe that's how you get a little bit popular. You get people talking about how you got into a fight with so-and-so or whatever. Maybe they even get to sue or something. Do I ever touch myself right after the stream? Just wiping my butt after pooping. That's it. I saw that video that slap was so satisfying, yeah. I don't know, I felt bad for Larry Wheels because, like, Larry's generally, like, I mean, for as big and bulky as he is, being like 300 pounds of muscle, he's, you know, he's clearly a very relaxed and nice guy, even if there's like a battle going on inside of him. But the fact that, you know, he had to do that is a little bit sad for him, you know, in a way that I feel bad for him that he had to do it. You have no idea who these people are. It's okay. Don't even waste your time. What's up, Hassan? How you doing, bro? I didn't understand at the time, but I ran back around to... what's this saying? I ran back around the front. I didn't understand at the time, but I ran back around the front to witness what? I'm not really sure. A few more players later, and someone finally hit the target, and the seat collapsed under my father, and I guess I expected him to land in the bottom of the pool like some kind of ninja, safe in the knowledge that the ghoulie or shark or whatever had been swept out into the ditch. And instead, Dad disappears from sight into the pool, and the next thing I hear is the loudest, most horrific cracking sound, and then a scream that should have woken the dead. People were running up in the... Not bad, man. Been fighting on from the line for Russia. Really? You're in war right now? Are you actually? Do you post it on your YouTube channel? Iranian missiles see from Lebanon hitting... Oh, that was 4 months ago. You're in war? Why are you in war? Where are you from? You live in Russia? People were running up the poolside ladder, trying to climb in and see what had happened. I was jumping, trying to get enough traction in my tiny frame to apparently clear an 8-foot wall, and all I could think was that the ghoulie had gotten him after all, and that we'd been unsuccessful in our attempts at saving him. Of course, what had really happened is that Dad had fallen around 10 feet into a pool that was no longer having water in it. Being completely unaware it no longer had water at the bottom, he wasn't even able to brace himself for the fall. He just landed straight onto his legs, shattering one ankle and breaking the fibula of his other leg. Now eventually, after much chaos and screaming and crying and frantic action and paramedics, I realized that I had screwed up big time. Dad wasn't a strict dad. In fact, he's quite the opposite, and that may be why I was...
Love your streams, man. Keep up the good work. Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Do you ever cry or eat yourself to sleep? Not anymore. Now I have to fucking be careful with what I eat. Yeah, I don't know. Being in like the Ukrainian war shit just seems so... Not to talk bad to anybody who's in it, just I don't know. Just the idea of like drones flying around and you can't do anything about it. I sound tired. I'm just, I don't know, going through like an illness-ish kind of thing right now. It's very annoying. Because I'm just, I don't know, it's constantly running in the back of my head like, what do I gotta do about it? Do you ever fall asleep to your own voice like we all do? I do not, no. Maybe I should try it though. And then, if I really like it, I can just make whatever content I want for myself. Oh, man. Now, my dad wasn't a strict dad. The opposite, in fact. And that's maybe why I felt even worse that I just stood by and let these teenage delinquents basically try to murder my dad. In my defense, and theirs, I really don't think they intended to cause him as much harm as they did. I think they were just as dumb as I was for believing in ghoulies and thought that he'd fall into the pool and just hurt his butt or something. Now, he spent some time in the hospital, during which I know that there was an investigation into who drained the water and sliced the tank. Now, I was petrified and kept quiet. It's not like I'd done it myself after all, but I did keep dropping hints to my sister and my mom saying, "Hey, remember those kids you told me about, sis? Do you think they could have been involved?" Eventually, people kept telling me to just shush because I was probably only 5 or 6 at the time. Now, I finally admitted the truth to my dad on my wedding night, slightly drunk at the reception, and the fall had caused him to... take early retirement from the police force, and he'd gone into local politics instead. Now, at the time of my wedding, he was sitting pretty as the mayor, and he'd done well for himself, and I confessed everything toward the end of the night. I looked from my dad to my sister to my new wife. Sadly, Mom had passed away some years before, and never got to celebrate the big day with us, sadly. And Dad began to absolutely roar with laughter, and so did my sister. As it turns out, they'd caught the kids who'd done the crime after a couple of weeks. They'd admitted to everything and been surprisingly held... Just finishing in the gym, about to take a cold-ass shower, have some dinner, and get some sleep. Good night. Hey, take care, Michael. Good to see you. Joel's yawning and burping is the signature. I know. Would you ever replace your teeth with Cheetos? We could give it a whirl. I got Tame Impala tickets today, but now I'm gonna have to take a solo trip to Canada. Damn, you going by yourself? Doesn't anybody else want to go? I can't just keep my mind off devil's milk. That is the thing I'm going to say after running to the bathroom. What's the devil's milk? I've finally been allowed home after months of fighting. Damn. Do I like sushi? I do like sushi, yeah. Is that a good alternative? Is that a good, probably better for... Get some of like the sashimi and shit, low fat content. They'd admitted to everything and been surprisingly remorseful, and also mentioned how a little kid had been there, talking about goblins or ghouls or something. My mom, dad, and sister had put two and two together and allowed me to live with my secret because in their eyes, all I was really guilty of was not wanting my dad to be grabbed by the ghoulies. What's my favorite sushi roll? I don't know. Maybe if like at the base level, maybe like a spicy salmon roll. But really, I just like any of them with like flavor, because some of them are just like pretty flavorless. You gotta throw the wasabi on there. Am I 30? You sound 30 exactly. I'm 35. Exactly.
Masubi is the best roll. Eat ginger. Oh, man.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know. Just been exhausted today. Just been an exhausting... I'm so mad at myself, though. It's just weird to think, like, just, like, casual drinking has led to this. Now, granted, people will say, like, gallstones or whatever it is, like, don't, you know, happen overnight. They build up over time, and then this is just what exacerbated an issue, but just frustrating. Yeah, I guess you don't think about shit until it's right in front of your face. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah, just no more alcohol for the rest of my life, which I have no problem with. That's fine. And then just try to eat as clean as possible. Do you think a prune juice cleanse helps any? Obviously don't want to do that all the time. Maybe like one time you could have some prune juice and just have a bunch of diarrhea for a little bit. Gut issues, do parasite cleanse. Make sure you do a binder with it. Did you get pancreatitis? I mean, I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I hope not. Ave Imperator, Joel. That means Hail the Emperor in Warhammer 40k speech, and yeah, I know it makes me a massive effing nerd. In my defense, A, my boyfriend told me to write to you, and B, it's relevant to the story. Maybe I'm misremembering, but... God damn it. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm sure that you said in one of your streams that you're a huge nerd, so I think you'll relate to this. If that actually was one of the other narrators I listened to, then I deeply apologize, and for what it's worth, I think nerds are cool. Now I'm gonna call my boyfriend Hank, which is a bit of an in-joke, and when the story happened, we'll only just... God damn it, why is it so fucking hard to read people's writing? You just need a reset? Maybe. Did I get checked to the hospital? No, I mean, I guess I should honestly at least get like some blood tests and get an ultrasound done. It's just annoying like how fucking tedious the process is. Like you gotta set it up and go. You know, I guess it's better than an ER visit or something. When the story happened, we'd only just started dating. We were in college and I didn't know him all that well, and all I really knew was that he was on the football team and I kept encountering him when we'd play various pickup basketball games on the college courts in our downtime. We were both decently good at casual basketball, and our first date was actually shooting hoops one-on-one against each other. And then many dates later, let's just say that strip basketball in the middle of the night is a pretty fun partner experience. Now, this came a bit later though. An earlier basketball experience that we shared was when we went to the state fair with some friends. Hank and I had been dating for around 6 weeks by this point, and one of our buds was seeing one of his girlfriends, so there was a lot of social crossover out of the blue. And it felt like we'd finally really found a solid, friendly bunch of people, all of whom were into sports and physical activities and shared interests. I had no idea that Hank had another side to him, a side that I knew nothing about. A side drenched in blood and dust and rivalries that could spill over into our perfect life. The state fair was always awesome. We always went in the evening and when there were fewer kids running around. The glowing neon lights of the rides and attractions just felt so magical, even as a college kid. And the state that I went to in college Health problems like that escalate if neglected. Please take care of yourself. Yeah. Just strange to think you don't even realize it is an issue until it's an issue. Getting anything medical done is a serious pain. Consumes so much time. Currently have migraines with aura addressed. Yeah. It's so annoying. Hey, Soup. What's up? I'm due for a radiation-based CT scan in May due to a mass in my lung that can't figure out what it is. Man, I'm sorry, dude. It's like you don't realize you walk by people every day and you're... Because, dude, whenever... In Naturator, I was telling him I think I have, like, gallbladder issues. Because I drank the other night and was dehydrated and then ate some food and... Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was like I was walking around at night. It wasn't even night at that point. It was like it was early in the morning and I couldn't sleep. And I'm walking around at fucking like 6 a.m. with the sun's not up, which is kind of chill. But then, I don't know. In my mind, I'm just like ready to fucking die. Just hoping anybody would walk by to just like do some miracle Jesus cure on me. Maybe your pH got flora off and that's the root cause. Maybe. Who knows? What are the symptoms? I mean, basically it was like, ate shitty earlier in the day, and then worked out, and then went to a birthday thing and just drank like quite a few beers. But this was over the course of many hours of not really having any food. Basically being dehydrated and then having symptoms of like the upper right quadrant under the rib, having severe pain after eating some wraps. They were like decently healthy wraps, I guess, but you just don't even think about it. I guess it had cheese in it. I'm pregnant. Yeah, most likely. I'm gonna shit out a baby soon. And then they radiated up to my back, and it was like the worst pain I'd felt for like probably 3 to 4 hours before it went away. And it's still not quite gone. It's just like I can feel it loosely there in the upper right quadrant. Play your Russian music. The one time I played your music last time, it was saying it was like copyright issues, so it led me to believe that it was not actually your songs. Not to put you down or anything, but I feel like I may have been misled. I had a gallbladder attack twice. Second time I went to the ambulance to the hospital, I thought it was a heart attack. Did you have to have your gallbladder removed, or what did you do? My friend literally just had her gallbladder removed because it's causing her shit. It took the doctors over a year to take her seriously. Really? See, that's so strange that they didn't take it seriously. Like, usually that's like the first things they check. It's so strange. Like, what the fuck goes through a doctor's head when they don't take what you're experiencing seriously? I had no idea until I went to some disc golf with friends and ended up spending the night in the ER with blood clot in my lung and then found the mass after the blood clot left. Jesus Christ. What the fuck is going on Earth, dude? Everyone's getting sick. We've been wrought with sin. I got my gallbladder years ago, laparoscopic surgery. Yeah, it's like a pretty simple surgery, pretty routine, but I just don't want to lose my gallbladder because it's so freaking cool, dude. It's such a freaking sweet-ass gallbladder, dude. I had that same pain in my intestinal wall, was sore, alcohol-free for 8 days. Goal is 3 weeks and 3 months. So far, I feel great. That's good, yeah, fuck all that shit. Alcohol's for Looney Tunes. My dad has gallbladder removed. I think my grandfather did too. Damn, dude. Everybody just gets screwed. Is the USA has the worst food? Yeah, probably. I got pancreatitis. Spent 14 days in the hospital. It gave you diabetes? Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Alright, well, we gotta get something scheduled here. You think it's a new pandemic attacking the gallbladder? That'd be fucking strange. Is that possible? Everybody in the world has to get their gallbladder out? We all need your voice, so don't play with your health piece. Yeah. Afraid I'm gonna say some insane shiz, but I assume it's similar to being high. What's that? I've had the same thing with my gallbladder. I used to have to force myself to throw up, and eventually I'd feel better, but whenever I'd feel it start to flare up, I'd drink mint or lemon ginger tea. Damn. That's so weird. Just, I don't know. I actually had my gallbladder removed a few years ago. They did the pinhole triangulation type surgery. Right, yeah, the laparoscopic thing, yeah. You can't really eat fatty food much anymore after your gallbladder's gone. Right, yeah. Yo, what's up, Joe? I just watched and listened to your other 2 lives and appreciate the Reanimal stream, so keep it up, bro. Hey, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, maybe I can just go get the shock therapy, get a lobotomy. Pork loin in the crock pot. Perfect. I assume I can't even fucking eat pig anymore. I'm gonna have to go full halal. Or Harambe. The state I went to college in wasn't where I'd grown up. I'd been raised in a much more urban location, so this kind of fare was both a novelty and an extremely exciting treat. And this was the first year that I got to experience it with Hank and my new friends, so I thought everything was going to be perfect. It was, at first. We went on a really scary roller coaster, which I loved because I got to squeeze up to Hank. And then we went to the Ferris wheel, which bothered me a little because I thought that it would be an excuse for a little makeout time, but Hank seemed distracted by something, or someone, in one of the other carriages. I'm having shock therapy done right now. You definitely forget stuff. Why are you doing shock therapy? I just meant like to break up the stones. Sorry if I missed some details, but you said that happened after drinking casually, but you don't drink that much, do you? No, I don't really drink at all. It's like, I mean, I drank this past weekend because it was a birthday. That was Saturday, and then it was another birthday Monday. So this is kind of stacked on top of each other, but I felt normal throughout the days. And then Monday, it was really just drinking beer, and then I don't know. Maybe it's just a one-time thing. Who fucking knows? And Father Joel, may I confess a sin? Although I've had my gallbladder removed and can't eat fatty foods anymore, I don't listen, I'm sorry, but I'm ride or die for cheesy potatoes. What does that feel like after you? I mean, I guess you just get hardcore diarrhea or some shit? Or constipated, or what happens? I'm procrastinating. Somebody encouraged me to... Do you take anything before you eat? Do you take any, like, bile salts or all that kind of shit? I've had mental crisis in October. It's super effective treatment. Oh, okay. Damn. But Hank seemed distracted by something or someone in one of the other carts. Now, but Hank seemed distracted by something or someone in one of the other carts on the Ferris wheel. Now, I asked him what was up and what he was looking at, and he said it didn't matter, just that he could have sworn that he recognized a guy, but there was no way that it could have been him. I didn't press him on it because he seemed so serious, and I was still at that stage where you were kind of courting, I guess, so I wanted to impress him and not just piss him off. And so we met back up with our friends, and next we headed into the Hall of Mirrors. Now, we all found this hilarious, looking at ourselves all distorted and weird and ugly looking. And again, though, Hank was distracted. I asked him again what was wrong, and this time he looked at me very serious and said that he thought we were being followed. I asked who would be following us, and he just shook his head and said, yeah, it can't be. Now, at this point, I tried to press him on it, but he just laughed and said that he was being a dumbass as usual. Now, I couldn't help notice, though, that he kept looking over his shoulder in the Hall of Mirrors and turning as quickly as if to catch. Hey, Valerie Lamora, welcome to the Buttersock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Thank you. Your voice is so beautiful. Thanks, friend. Can we blame shareholders and corporations for everything? I guess if it's easier to comprehend reality, that certainly is something that people do. But I don't know. I guess when it comes down to what we consume as well, it's really up to us to make those conscious decisions. I think it's different for everyone. When I had it, I couldn't eat shit, but once I got it removed, it was a game changer. I feel like I can eat anything now. Huh. Interesting. Nothing really else changed. What could be the pain you're feeling to be allergic reaction to alcohol or... I don't know. I think there was a few different signs. It was one, the fact that it was like specific to where the pain started initially, right? In the right upper quadrant under the rib. And then it radiated to the back, on the upper right back, which is what was consistent with gallbladder. And then, not to be gross or whatever, but like my stools following that were like a lighter color, which is indication that like the fat has not been like digested via the bile released from your gallbladder. Now, it's since gotten better, as far as coloration and that kind of thing, so hopefully it's operating well. But that's, I don't know, all of that just seemed to like line up exactly with what had occurred. Have you ever farted super loudly while reading and decided to keep the fart in the audio? No, not yet. I've thought about it, but I don't know if I trust you guys enough to just let it rip. Unless you grow and hunt your own food, nothing you eat is good for you. Nothing! You have to eat the animal's soul. You have to look the animal in the eye as you cut its throat. Joel, why does it hurt more at night? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'm in a much better spot. Like if your issue is like ongoing, that's very concerning. Because if it is a gallbladder thing, like that's definitively something that you need to go to the hospital for, right? If it just keeps going. And it hasn't gotten better. Mine was like over the course of like 5 hours. Like it peaked in pain and it starts to, slowly go down. And it's just that I can like, it's almost like after getting hit somewhere, you can like still feel that like numb sensation of where you've been like injured. And that's kind of what I feel in the right upper quadrant now. But I'm just trying to like get myself back on track. It's a hot chocolate fest that happens every year in February that proceeds to go Meals on Wheels. Many of the cafes put together special hot chocolates, so that sounds nice. Took me 2 weeks to recover. I was hobbling like an old man. Damn, yeah. Well, yeah, if anything, I guess this is just like an eye-opening thing for me. I couldn't help noticing, though, that he kept looking over his shoulder in the Hall of Mirrors and turning quickly as if to catch someone following us. Now, the place was pretty busy, so it was hard to tell if there was even anyone with reflections all over the place. And in the end, Hank sort of laughed it off, and I did my best to distract him by pointing out some cool stuff that we could do next. And the next thing was a haunted house attraction that you walk through. I love horror, and I was excited for this one, but I pretended to be terrified by every jump scare and silly face-painted ghouls, so I had an excuse to grab hold of Hank and play up my Scream Queen aspirations. The haunted house was busy too, and there were 6 of us trying to stick together in the cramped corridors. Hank was absolutely insistent that someone was following us again, though, and when a creepy masked actor burst out of a closet, he almost punched him in the face on instinct. I was starting to get a little more nervous, honestly. Who could be stalking Hank that could have him so spooked? And after the haunted house, we began walking down Carnival Alley, stopping to play some of the games. You only get 3 little scars. Yeah, but here, I'll tell you why I don't want to get my... Oh, that's right. It doesn't make bile, it stores it, concentrates it, and releases it strategically when you eat fat. So it stores bile that comes from the liver. Oh yeah, maybe it could be a liver issue. Maybe it quite literally was just like a liver problem. Your liver is constantly producing bile even when you're not eating. The gallbladder acts like a holding tank, storing the bile until food, especially fat, enters your small intestine. So concentrated bile, oh yeah, and then this is what I felt like was important. It breaks down fats, emulsifying cholesterol and absorbing fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. And I was just thinking, I don't want to end up vitamin deficient because I am missing out on those things. So if you did get your gallbladder removed, be aware of those taking a multivitamin, maybe A, D, E, and K. Makes 5 to 10 times more concentrated, absorbs water and electrolytes out of the bile. Helps regulate cholesterol balances, indirect gut oh, that's right. It helps regulate your gut bacteria as well. Do you name your gallbladder, and are you having a difficult time deconnecting it? Yeah, it's my baby. It's like having a child. I don't want to abort it. Everybody's different. It may take less time to recover if you get the surgery. Yeah, fuck, I'm not doing that, dude. I don't want to die, but, I don't want to get any surgeries and keep the fucking medical system away from me as much as possible. I worked in it. When my mom was initially feeling her pain, she went to the hospital and she kept saying her liver hurt, but now they think it's a gallbladder, so she keeps saying it's so tender there. Yeah. You think there would be some pretty clear things to indicate that it is that. So the fact that they're uncertain seems really weird to me. Say no to surgery screwed up my dad big time. What happened to your dad? Tell me. A friend of mine said his shit smelled horrific after his gallbladder was removed and he wants to experience this. Yeah, I guess just because it was filled with unprocessed fat or whatever. Undigested aspects of fat. Probably affected maybe some of the gut biome as well. Maybe there's a particular part of the gut biome that proliferates from then. False spring. Yeah, we are kind of going through a false spring. After the haunted house, we began walking down Carnival Alley, stopping to play some of the games. Hank won me a little plush fox, which I still have to this day, and we're all having fun, going off and playing the different games, many of which were surprisingly easy to win. And then Hank saw him. A guy with spiky, iced blonde bleach hair, wearing a Korn t-shirt, these sort of punk jeans, and weighing probably at least 250 pounds. "It's him," Hank said. I knew it. Now his face had gone almost white. What? Who the hell was this nerdy-looking guy, and why was my jacked boyfriend acting like the devil himself was on his tail? Hank said that he had to tell me something important. He grabbed me and gently pulled me into the alley between 2 of the carnival game tents, and he held my shoulders and looked me in the eyes. His expression was grave, to say the least, and I swear to God it looked like he was about to confess a series of murders. And instead, he said something I could have never predicted. I'm a professional Warhammer 40k player, he said, at a national tournament level. He stared at me like he expected me to spit in his face or slap him or something. And then I just said, "Oh, well, my younger brother would love to talk to you about that." And then he plays the other one. Is this a quote? What the fuck is this? Dude, if you were in the medical field, you will know that it's just like mechanics. You have symptoms, they go down the list of what causes those symptoms with tests that only causes and give more info. I just figured that they would be more effective at determining said symptoms from said issues. But we're also getting it secondhand information from families, so I guess we don't exactly know what the medical people are going through or what she's experiencing specifically. I drink a lot, but I haven't gotten any problems besides a doctor saying he's concerned about my liver. Still drinking because an ultrasound came back okay. Kind of like a false alarm. Am I tempting fate? Yeah, 100%. Your life will get like infinitely better if you just get rid of alcohol from it completely. Because you become an alcoholic without even realizing it, right? You do it like casually by yourself and then every day, and eventually your body becomes dependent on it and you get withdrawals and all sorts of shit. Wish our organs would speak loudly and clearly and tell us verbally that they're sick or need medical attention. Yeah, I guess they kind of do through the phrenic nerve. Working a bit on my car, I've often told myself I need to watch my health. Yeah, honestly, maybe just making that change to like limited ingredients, lean meats and vegetables and fruit and water. Just shit to like survive. Not all the processed dog shite. After like 2 weeks, I feel the urge to get drunk. I have this urge. I think they call it the gentleman's urge. It's a gentleman's desire, perhaps, to drink and keep drinking. And then I was like, oh, my younger brother would love to talk to you about that. He plays the other one, the fantasy one. I help him paint them sometimes. So wait, what's the panic here exactly? Now Hank looked equal parts relieved and terrorist. He was a terrorist. Hank looked equal parts relieved and terrified. And later he admitted to me that he was worried that I'd think that he was a loser and a dweeb if I knew how and toward. Your sister got a PhD, got heart operation via Obamacare, then exported a hidden husband from family to the USA. Now she is sleeping in Miami graveyard. Lived 8 years, 34 death. Poor her. He got deported. What? My sister, a PhD, got heart operation via Obamacare, then exported a hidden husband from family to your USA. Now she is sleeping in a Miami grave. Did something happen? Was it the heart surgery was just bad, or what? I don't understand. The devil is in Ohio. That's true. We're currently fighting the devil at Lake Erie. Get some cough syrup and mix it with Sprite. That'll make you feel better. Perhaps. Later, he'd admitted to me that he was worried that I'd think that he was a loser and a dweeb if I knew how into Warhammer 40k he was. And okay, yeah, he is really into it. Even when he told me that night, I didn't quite understand the extent of his involvement. All those weekends when he'd said that he was off on some hunting trips or had tournaments or training, most of it was Warhammer tournaments. And so he wasn't lying, but the guy was an almost pro-level college football player. I didn't know that he even had the time to play tabletop strategy games. But I found it kind of hot, honestly, and it later made it easier for me to admit to him that I collect American Girl dolls from time to time. We all have weird hobbies, right? But none of this is scary. My boyfriend is a national Warhammer 40k tournament champion isn't the horror twist that I brought to you today. The horror twist was that when he told me that the guy that he'd kept seeing was the guy that he'd beaten in the finals he won over the summer. Finals that took place halfway across the country. An opponent who lived even further away than that. A guy who'd been sending him messages online ever since, acting like a salty little man baby saying that he cheated and his army was OP and he only won because he was attractive. Is that even a thing in Warhammer? and that one day he'd find him in real life and show him what real combat was. Now, I maybe didn't take this quite as seriously as I should have because I'd seen the guy and I knew my boyfriend, and if it came to it, I was pretty sure that my boyfriend could one-punch this fool into oblivion, and so I proposed an idea. Let's make him even more mad. Hank was hesitant. Oh, that's a great idea. Let's antagonize. I got an idea. Let's put us all in danger. Love the channel and the voice stories are great. Hey, thank you, Ice Ankle. Good to see you. The Frosted Tips corn t-shirt guy is a college football player. Yeah, right. No, that's the other guy is the Frosted Tips cornhole player. Your 911 says they found her. She was fine 8 years. When we full guess this hidden husband sent her to God and hope he will live on in the USA. That's what. Oh, yikes. So you think he did something. That's scary. My favorite stories are the cyberstalker ones, or the creepy neighbor stories. Thank you, yeah. They're good ones. Hey, it's Vixa. What's up, Vixa? Let's make him even more mad, I thought. Hank was hesitant about this because he's a soft baby sweetheart, and I asked him if he was 100% sure that this guy was the Warhammer opponent, and he said yes. Now I led him by the hand out into the carnival alley and saw the guy. He was glowering at our friends standing by the shooting range, and I walked over with Hank and said, loud enough to be heard, "I can't believe you were worried that I'd think that you were a loser for playing Warhammer. Like this chump, for example, looks like he plays. I bet you could take him down in round 1. And then I flashed the Warhammer loser this big grin. And he knew that I knew. It was obvious. His face flushed red, and he pointed at Hank and started screaming about how he'd promised this day would come and reckoning was upon him. Then I said, "Blood for the blood god, huh?" Which I thought was the Warhammer catch... Oh, whoops. I actually corrected her in it. Okay. Yeah. Get yourself a girlfriend who puts you into immediate danger. Sweetheart, I think that guy wants to hurt us. Well, don't you want to hurt him? I think you should go hurt him and I can watch from the sideline. I then sarcastically said, "Blood for the god," which I thought was a Warhammer catchphrase, and Hank just gently whispered, "It's blood for the blood god, babe." And I just blushed in embarrassment. And that's when that Warhammer loser, angry, spitting with rage, said that if we liked blood so much, then maybe we should experience some blood of our own. He whirls around, grabbed one of the guns from the shooting gallery, aimed it at Hank, and pulled the trigger. Now, the gun made its usual laser bleep-bloop noise, and I saw the mistake dawn on this Warhammer loser's face as he made it. These were not BB guns or air rifles. They were laser target guns, completely light-based, and he just tried to shoot my boyfriend Hank in full view of an entire group of people, including at least 3 cops with what he believed to be a deadly weapon, but was actually a toy gun. That's still a crime, buddy. Now, we were standing by one of those stalls where you grab a baseball and throw it to knock cans down. Now, I didn't hesitate. I grabbed one of the balls and threw it as hard as I could at that hit loot. This is so retarded. Blood for the blood god. She throws it and it just hits a baby. I grabbed one of the balls and threw it as hard as I could at that Warhammer loser. It smashed him square in the nose. I guess it wasn't just a one-on-one basket. That's so cringe. I grabbed one of the balls and threw it as hard as I could at that Warhammer loser, and it smashed him square in the face. And within seconds, this Warhammer guy was tackled by a local sheriff's deputy who happened to be the brother of one of Hank's best buddies. And so then, to cut a long story short, this is how things turned out. Warhammer loser, real name Elias, had a history of unhinged posting on certain internet forums, obsessing over how his opponent, Hank, had cheated and was going to get even with him. He'd eventually been banned from all but the most fringe communities. Do you know how to drive a motorcycle? I do not know. The story's so stupid I can tell I know, it's ridiculous. It's a 4chaner. A 4chan chick. It's a 4chaner. They're from, you can tell because they're from Israel. He'd eventually been banned from all but the most fringe communities for toxic behavior. And so basically he traveled across the country after finding out where Hank went to college and took a gamble that he'd find him at the local state fair since it was a popular college kid hangout. And from what we could gather, he'd been there on the lookout the entire day. And this meant that when he grabbed that toy laser gun, there was clear intent to harm, and had the weapon he'd chosen. Yo, XII Luz, what is happening? She was appointed teacher in DC University for one of the few lucky students from Faisalabad University to reach USA. She was 60 kilograms strong girl, only one in our family to reach such career height. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that. How was your night? It's okay. One step at a time. How the heck do you do this for so long without having to pee or to use a pee bottle? Yeah, I have a catheter in right now. It's my stream catheter. I do have to refill my water up here soon. Do I have some? No, I need a refill here. Just say illusions? Oh, okay. It's like so many weird characters I couldn't quite understand what it was. It's like seeing those like Xbox names back in the day. XDX, Milfred, XDX. From what we could gather, he'd been there on the lookout the entire day, and this meant that when he grabbed that toy laser gun, there was clear intent to harm, and had... fuck. This meant that when he grabbed that toy laser gun, there was clear intent to harm, and had the weapon he'd chosen been an actual weapon, it could easily be legally determined that he would have used it. And this meant that he'd be facing a pretty serious charge simply for pointing a toy laser gun at someone and trying to shoot them. In the end, we did him a solid, especially because I didn't really want his dumbass trying to countersue me for hurting him. In the end, we did him a solid, especially because I didn't really want his dumbass trying to countersue me for breaking his nose. We agreed with the prosecutor that we drop our own charges against him as long as he was forced to undergo mandatory anger management. Hank also used his connections in the Warhammer scene to ensure that this Elias was banned for life from a number of high-profile national tournaments. It was all very silly and almost comical, but if you think about it, the fact that he traveled across the country... Oh god, I do need to get some... Oh, man. I don't know why I got your notification 10 minutes ago. I don't know, YouTube sends out notifications for live streams like they do for videos, right? They do it in like batches. And that's like the dumbest fucking thing you could possibly do for a live stream, because... When did you start? I started probably around 11-ish or some 10:30, 11. You write stories from the things you see. Observe my sister name on Google, Romanian Anglim. If you want to write a story of her life, you're welcome, but 911 says unknown reason of death. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Your notification was off too. Yeah, I don't know why you, like, it's so weird when YouTube decides to like turn people's notifications off. It just doesn't make any sense. They're trying to keep us down in the mud, folks. They're trying to hurt us. They're trying to give us a cholecystectomy. which is a removal of the stones from the balls. What's up, Pats? How we doing? I don't get notification at all. I just check on your life even though I'm subscribed. Yeah, I tell people to follow my Instagram at letsread.official, because on my story there, which I think you can hit the notifications for that, it gives another, possible notification. Say that in a Dracula way. It is all very silly and almost comical. Oh, jeez. I'm mixing up who Dracula is. It was all very silly and almost comical, but if you think about it, the fact that he traveled across the country and was willing to fire at least a BB gun or an air rifle at my boyfriend in revenge for sucking at Warhammer is actually pretty freaking terrifying. And it's a reminder that there are some absolutely unhinged people out there. On the plus side though, Hank and I bonded even further over his nerdy hobby, and he helped my brother evolve from the fantasy Warhammer to the 40k universe, and now they both help run a local tabletop gaming group. Sometimes I even hang out and I mostly just play Pokemon. Anything else is a bit too violent for me. I have your stream days memorized and then I always be late. It's all good. No worries. I'm just chilling. $100 billing. I should probably go get some more water though. You're fitting to sleep. Fitting to sloip. Alright, let me grab some more water. I'll be right back. Fitting these nuts. When do I stream? I stream every Sunday and Wednesday night because new videos come out Monday and Thursday, and I'm recording them for those days. You gotta work in 6 hours? Oh, you better get some sleep. Sleep is the cure to all ailments, methinks. Oh, man. Yeah, everything's gonna be okay. What story? Was that story 3? 4? You haven't slept in 6 days? How are you not, like, hallucinating? Would you and your future wife read stories together as a duet? If she didn't suck, yeah. But if she was good at it, yeah, of course. Fix this grammar, but don't change the story. Bro, how are you not seeing shadow walkers? I know, right at that point. It's the Russian sleep experiment. I'm hearing things and I haven't slept in 3. Jesus Christ, guys, what is going on? I bring up like any random ailment and I swear like 9 people in the chat are like, yeah, me too. Yeah, I haven't slept in a fucking year. Yeah, I've got the blight. I hallucinate 20 hours without sleep. I couldn't imagine 2 days. Yeah, it's crazy. Dawn Brigade, thank you for the gifter to Carol CLMMC. Thank you, Dawn. Sleepers for the week. That's not true, though. Sleep is kind of for everybody, weak and strong included. This is one of the reasons we admire you so much. Listen, oh, thank you, yeah. Haven't slept in 10-ish hours. That seems like a normal day. I've only gotten about 2 hours sleep each day and I've been working 10-hour shifts. Oh god, that sounds miserable. You just like can't. I just remember coming back from Australia trying to sleep and I had like such bad jet lag that or whatever the fuck it was, I just like when I would try to sleep it just like wouldn't happen. I'd be asleep for like maybe an hour and wake back up and just be going crazy. I just got a lot on my mind and I have insomnia. That's fair. Okay. So this happened back in the 80s, before health and safety was really quite as severe as it is now. We were just a group of thrill-seeking kids heading to the county fair and excited to ride the most dangerous, unstable, poorly built rides we could find. The more rickety and unsafe it felt, the more we loved it. Weren't a lot of us like that as kids, though? And that was the thrill of the fair, wasn't it? The idea that these gruff, greasy men operating the rides genuinely didn't give enough of a crap about you to care whether you lived or died. And that was every chance the tilt-a-whirl or the waltzers or the bumper cars could go flying off the tracks. God fucking damn it. We lived or died. And there was every chance that the tilt-a-whirl or whatever. Hey, Dawn, thank you for another gifter. To yourself. That's actually hilarious. It just gifted yourself. Like, what are the chances of that? And then another gift to Vitality. Nice. Wonder if they changed it so it actually gives it to people in the chat. Yo, Joe, I see this. I have a question for you, though. Let's hear it. It better be the best question I've ever been asked. Sharon, thank you for the 5 gifters too. IXCTU, Kimberly Jolly, Lori Jean, and Balbo Baggins, and Dylan Carvalho. How do you feel about like 1 million people always sleeping your voice in stories? That makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I did something with my life, you know what I mean? Doesn't mean that like, you know, what other people were doing isn't of value. It's just, I don't know, it just makes me feel like I did something cool. Because, like, I'll be honest with you guys, like, my life is, like, extraordinarily unexciting, external from, like, this concept of me doing YouTube, you know? Like, you know, I will be, yeah, I don't know, you know? So yeah, thank you for sleeping to it. Did I see the Mr. Ball's lawsuit? Mr. Ballin lawsuit? No. Help me so much, people. Joey, really hope you realize that. Thank you. Mr. Ballin lawsuit. What is this? Let's see. In January, this is an AI overview from Google. In January 2026, John B. Allen, known as the YouTuber podcaster Mr. Ballin, sued his former business partner and CEO Joel Blackwell. Just kidding. Wouldn't that suck? I'd be fucked. And CEO Nick Witters in Delaware for fraud and breach of contract. The complaint alleges Witters engaged in self-dealing, excessive spending, and misconduct while falsely promising a massive second Wandery deal to secure a 40% stake in Mr. Ballin LLC. Allegations: Allen claims Witters hid rampant spending, theft, drug and alcohol abuse, and workplace harassment, reported Bloomberg Law News. The deception. The lawsuit alleges Witters used fake high-stakes negotiations with Amazon to trick Allen into restructuring the company in January 2025. After a successful 2022 deal with Amazon-owned Wandery, Allen brought in Witters to manage operations, reported Law 360. The suit seeks to recover control and damages from the alleged fraudulent restructuring. A separate 2025 lawsuit was also filed by a third party against Mr. Ballin LLC, reported Justia dockets and filings. Against Mr. Ballin LLC? What the fuck's that about? Jesus Christ, dude. What the fuck? What the fuck's going on? I feel terrible for John at this point. I mean, I knew... Can you repeat what it's about? I follow. I'm sorry if it's listen. No, it's just like somebody brought to my attention that he was going through a lawsuit, and it sounds like his co-partner that he started Ballin Studios with or bought him in misled him and misused funds or something. I mean, this is all just alleged here, but we can read on Bloomberg. I feel bad airing out John's stuff, not to tell him I apologize but I guess that's out in the air now. Popular true crime influencer says his business partner deceptively restructured their media venture, funneled cash to his lavish drug-fueled lifestyle, blew a blockbuster deal with Amazon.com Incorporated, intimidated employees into keeping quiet. That's fucking weird. John B. Allen, known as Mr. Ballin, is suing the ex-CEO of his content company, Nick Witters, a talent manager he brought on to run the business in 2022. Witters hid his, quote, rampant spending, drug and alcohol abuse, and workplace harassment. That's the weirdest part to me, workplace harassment, while using bogus hype about a 9-figure podcasting contract with Amazon to trick Allen into signing over a 40% stake. Damn, dude. Damn. That's so sad. I mean, that's honest. Like, more money, mo problems, bro. You just have to deal with these fucking people that may not have your best interests in mind. There's another time she was spending the night sleeping. Okay. Seems like every booming successful person gets ousted out of their own company. Yeah, because there's just always, like, not saying anybody specifically here, but it's just like there's always some degree of, like, snake in the grass that wants to take advantage of either your kindness or, like, you know, promise you the world. And I've seen it so many fucking times throughout, like, my YouTube thing where somebody just wants a piece of your pie for doing essentially nothing. So it's just, I feel so bad for him. Isn't that the dude Mr. Ballin was praising for helping him get the channel started and came from Mr. Beast? I believe so. Yeah, I do remember hearing Nick Witters had helped manage Mr. Beast in something, but I wonder if he left on negative terms over there. I don't know. But I mean, obviously, I don't like the thing with the gym. Yeah, exactly. Like this, it almost reminds, you know, that is like, it reminds you of like going through like a divorce. And that's kind of how I felt with my friend, where I trusted my friend and then he fucked me over at the gym and I owed a bunch of money. You know what I mean? So there's always just like someone is going to see that you have success and they are going to want a fucking piece of it, and they don't really care if you get screwed in the end. I woke up with a leg cramp this morning. I sneezed, my back cracked. I'm one farter away from being paralyzed. Well, yeah, damn. Anyways, that's, yeah, best of luck to John. Love him, man. He's a good guy. Like, I never got to talk to him, but I've seen him, you know, and you kind of get a vibe with someone, and they seem like good people, and, you know, it sucks whenever things get to that point, but, yeah, I hope it works out. I'm sure, yeah, it's scary. I mean, 9 figures. What is 9 figures? Let's do the math real quick. 0, 0, comma, 0, 0, 0, comma. Okay, we're already in the millions. That's 7. Okay, so like definitely over $10 million. I think. So you would have 6 zeros equals a million, right? And then you add 2 more numbers. Oh, 3 more numbers. What the fuck? 9 figures? In the 100 million? Is that really what it would be? Is that really what he's dealing with right now? Is fucking close to $100 million lawsuit related? That's insane. $100 million fucking dollars. See, that's crazy to me. These people are like so far beyond my comprehension that I'm like thankful that I'm not that wealthy. That's terrifying. Theft is slow. Every time I see a former friend of mine on suggested accounts to follow, quickly I'd ignore, and that was decades ago. Can't stand the sight. Yeah, fuck them. I'm doing carnival cotton candy treats orders tonight. It's so perfect. Hell yeah, let's go. Okay, well, fuck. Let's keep piling on the sad news, guys. I guess that's just part of the game here. Weren't a lot of us like that as kids? That was... Oh, yeah, that's where we were, sorry. Weren't a lot of us like that as kids? That was the thrill of the fair, really, wasn't it? The idea that these gruff, greasy men operating the rides genuinely didn't give enough of a crap about you to care whether you lived or died, and that there was every chance that the tilt-a-whirl or bumper cars could go flying up the tracks in some fiery wreck, killing you instantly. I guess that was just part of the fun. Or maybe we were just idiots. We were at a theme park one day, and it had a reputation for being a bit unsafe, and it was in our local area, so of course we hung out there a lot. It was a coastal fun fair and brought in so much money to the town that I'm convinced that brown envelopes changed hands to get safety checks signed off, because, let me tell you, there were so many minor injuries and breakdowns in that place. Nothing like the incident that happened to our buddy that day, though. We were strolling down the boardwalk, just taking a break between rides. It was 5 of us, 4 guys and 1 girl, and we all sort of were these... I'm here slightly earlier than usual. Hello. Stylish, hit me up if you want to expand your channel on gaming for real, for real. What are you talking about? Thank you. Hello, Joel. Just popped in to smash the like button. As always, see the story tomorrow. Thanks ahead of time. Yeah, no worries, Karen. Good to see you. We were all sort of alternative types. The girl, Layla, had a huge permed... Oh my god, The girl, Layla, had huge permed hair sprayed green. I had a spiky mohawk. You get the picture. People kept away from us, even though we were just really posers, honestly, and wouldn't have hurt a fly. Our one buddy, though, the real thrill-seeker, had decided that the real punk move was dressed like a 50s dad, with a beige tank top, braces, chinos, and thick-rimmed glasses. It was honestly hilarious. These four stereotypical punks and this one guy who looked like if he were any more square, he'd be a Tetris piece. Oh my god. Fuck. He wants to know how to expand on his gaming channel if he wants to upload, but like it depends on your gameplay. What are you talking about? Just make a gaming channel. What's there to know? I was just asking how to get back onto YouTube again since I've been away from posting for a few years. Oh yeah, no worries, man. I mean, you probably should. I don't want people like exchanging social media within the chat, you know what I mean? It just can get kind of weird. But yeah, if you have any question, we can answer questions here and now, you know what I mean? These four stereotypical punks and this one guy who looked like he was... I cannot... These four stereotypical alternatives and this one guy who looked like if he were any more square, he'd be a Tetris piece. The square one, obviously, but it was hilariously ironic. He was the wildest one of us, and while I wouldn't say that he was the leader, he definitely was the linchpin that kept us all together. His idol was Andy Kaufman, and if that gives you any idea as to what kind of guy he was, in fact, hey, let's just call him Tony, as in Tony Clifton, the beloved Andy Kaufman character. And our buddy was always doing that impression. He'd get a kick out of it. Dude, I can't fucking follow their grammar. I thought this thing fucking fixed their grammar. It's somehow getting worse in the AI. Did you hear about the 15 backcountry skiers that came up missing after an avalanche in California happened an hour from me? We're having major storms here. I think 9 of 15 survived. That's terrifying. I'm sorry to hear that. Jesus Christ. Just out of nowhere, like a big storm. Avalanche. Yeah, fuck. Your farmers only profiles. I have some content I could post, but I guess it's being consistent, setting up a schedule. Yeah, I mean, that's the toughest thing about like gaming content in general. It's just like finding what your niche is going to be, because, you know, I don't really watch gaming stuff. Well, I do watch gaming, but it's like obviously specific games to myself, and I'm also very like fair weather on whether I continue watching it. Like, you know, forever I watch like Overwatch shit. And I wouldn't, you know, it's like you can tell from observing it loosely that like these people who are like big into a game or have success in a game, like to have success within that specific sub niche, you kind of like lock yourself into those particular people and what they expect, and then they can be really fair weather and like end up leaving you, you know what I mean? But then then you go forward, you know, going forward, like I started watching some of like Tfu's videos because he would play Arc Raiders and do a lot of insane PvP stuff. But even it's like he's kind of capitalizing on the current sort of success of, you know, whatever a game is popping off at this point. And then so it's kind of just tough. It's like you get involved in these gaming communities, and it's not to say that you're going to have like crazy success like some of those guys, but then what happens, like how, I don't even know how people find their way into the space of gaming, because it's like you could be like the one that carries the game based on personality, or the channel based on personality, like Markiplier, or you could be someone that's like solely based around like skill of a game, but then you kind of get locked into it, and it's just tough. Dark Somnium stream Reanimal shortly after me. Oh, that's fun. That's awesome. Hey, Rocker Red, good to see you. Rocker Red, you've been with the channel for like well over a decade. Thank you for continuing to like listen. It's kind of insane. If you play video games in your underwear, you have a problem. Don't get too locked in. Well, you know, you're just staying comfy. This is me with Fortnite. Been around since day one, so I built my gaming theme around that, but I stopped playing it, so now I'm back to square one. It's tough, man. I mean, can I look at your channel? Is it even on this channel, or is it somewhere else? But it's tough. Oh, it is. Yeah, it's like, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Because then once you find like a niche that gets you like thousands of views, like how do you decide, you know, whether to stick with it or try something else or whatever? Have you heard of Highland Life? I have, yeah. That was one game that I kind of like missed. And I heard Highland Life 2 was actually pretty funny too, and fun.
Oh, man. Oh.
In fact, hey, let's just call him Tony, as in Tony Clifton, the beloved Andy Kaufman character. Our buddy was always doing that impression, and he'd get a kick out of this. And so we were just wandering around and chilling when Tony stopped us all, acting all covert-like, and ushered us to duck into this little alleyway. I went to ask him what was up, but he put his finger to his lips theatrically and pointed towards this little shed where he could hear two carnival workers talking. They were talking about one of the roller coasters, a fairly mid one, not even one that we'd usually bother with. One of them was telling the other one that the safety bars in the second was being a bit screwy, and so to make sure that they told the other guy running the coaster to really slam it into place, or better yet, not use that specific carriage at all. Now Tony looked at the rest of us and just whispered, "We're doing this," and then took off into a sprint, running toward the coaster. Now we jogged behind him, completely aware
Was a few Fortnite vids, but it was like you with Overwatch, I just kind of got sick of it.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, I cannot imagine the people who had to make content specific to a game, like how completely done they would be with like a game, you know, by the end. Queso broke the code. There's a lot of people who break the code, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of like variety streamers on YouTube where people follow them specifically for their personality, where they can just play whatever the fuck they want and get away with it. Tifu, that's a throwback. I thought he quit content creating streaming. Well, he came back to it specifically just for Arc Raiders, and it seems like his shit does pretty well, like at least decently well. But even that seems like really tedious already, because the game's only been out for not that long, and all he does all day every day for his streams is just go to like Stella Montis and PvP. Now granted, he's very good at it, but I can only imagine it's like, I can't imagine it's that much fun being on the same map time in and time out. If GTA 6 ever comes out, would you play it on live? I don't think so. I think that game might, like, I usually just play like story-driven horror games, kind of to stay within niche, and I can kind of like actually interact with chat while doing it, you know, whereas GTA would require probably more focus and take way too long. Hey, literally living in your channel for 6 years. It's mainly for sleep, but I enjoy your content so much. Thank you for what you do. Thank you, Expanded. Good to see you. Thank you for listening for that long. That's a long time. Sweaty boxer gamer Joel, it's me. I got my face on my boxers. We jogged behind him, completely aware of what he had planned. What the fuck is this saying? We jogged behind him, completely aware of what he had planned without him even having to explain it to us. He was going to ride the coaster without the safety bar down, and figured that if he could get there before the employee could warn the current guy on shift, he'd be able to make sure that the bar didn't lock. It had been one of his weird life dreams to ride a roller coaster bareback, as he put it. We got to the coaster, which didn't even have a line because it wasn't that popular, and the rest of us were like, no way, man, we're not stupid. You do it if you want to, and so we did. We watched from the ground as Tony let the employee push the safety bar down, and then he gave us a wink and a thumbs up and sort of cheekily showed us that the bar wasn't locked in place properly, and the ride took off. We could see that Tony was holding the bar steady, and goddamn him, he was managing it, and he was using one hand to make sure that the bar didn't fly open and the other to hold himself in place against the coaster. It was honestly really impressive. We really thought that he was going to do it. The absolute maniac was going to fulfill his dream of riding that coaster bareback. And then came the incline and the big drop. At the top, Tony leaned down towards us, a speck in the distance, and gave us another thumbs up. I guess he misjudged exactly when the roller coaster was going to shoot downward because he wasn't actually holding on when it did so. And so the roller coaster shot forward to begin its descent, building speed over the arch at the top, and Tony went flying out of that cart and through the air. And I swear it felt like slow motion. our friend's body catapulting out of the roller coaster and through the air, and I swear I saw a smile on that doofus's face, but that could have just been wishful thinking. Screams were erupting around me as people saw the body flying off that roller coaster, but it all sounded underwater to me, and my eyes just followed my friend as he ragdolled through the air. For a moment I wondered if maybe he'd land in the... Excuse me. Oh man. Major bag alert. Tifu, C-Day, Fearless, Smith, all the OGs of Fortnite got me into it, but yeah, I think I'm done with it. Yeah, I don't even know what is left on Fortnite. I remember like it seemed like it died out and then it kind of got like a sudden resurgence again, and then it really sounded like a lot of people just like, it's like their game, you know? That's like what they play all the time. It's crazy to listen to your stories for years and go through all the videos, and you're just purely the best narrator I've come across on YouTube. Joel, couldn't get through work without you. Thank you, friend. Good to see you. Makes me feel good. Oh, man. She's sneezing the way her gazoon tight. Or no, she got me sneezing the way her gazoon tight. I forget, you get the idea. For a moment, I wondered if maybe he'd land in the sea and be fine, but I could see that he was heading toward the forested area just behind the park. I ran faster than I'd ever run before, and by now, Tony's body had disappeared from sight beyond that tree line. Now I was the first to reach the scene, and what met my eyes wasn't so much a human body anymore. It was pieces of a body, like a person had exploded from within. I don't know if this was because he'd hit some trees on the way down or what, but I can only imagine from the amount of damage that it was very quick and he didn't really feel it. I felt it though, deep in my heart and soul, and I've been feeling it ever since. I see that scene in my dreams at least once a month, and yet I somehow know that our goofy, ridiculous friend Tony would absolutely get a kick out of dying by being catapulted off of a roller coaster. Just maybe not 21 years of age. I think he would have liked to live a bit longer than that, honestly. Unsurprisingly, this death was a bit of a step too far for that theme park, and it was forced to close down. It eventually reopened a few years later under new ownership. Tony's family tried suing the park, but it turns out that the workers who had been talking about the damaged ride had overheard Tony's declarations about riding it. And eventually, under oath, a couple of the group had to admit that Tony knew the ride was faulty, but that he'd intentionally ridden it unsafely. Now, I really don't think that Tony would have wanted that park to get in trouble for his own actions. His family did still get a payout, and the owners dealt with some hefty fines, but I think the alternative would have left them liable for manslaughter, and I know Tony wouldn't have wanted that. He died doing what he loved, riding a roller coaster in the most dangerous way possible, and while I miss him every day, I can't help but hope that he's up there somewhere, laughing his ass off with Andy Kaufman at his own stupidity. Hey, Russian words, thank you for 3 months. I love your videos. Love you too. Thank you. Good to see you. Sadly, I can't read that alphabet. What's up, Mohammed? It just became a collab fest. I feel that's what's keeping it alive. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. And sometimes it's like all those brands like catch up later. Is my first name really Let's? Yeah.
Let us. Let us for short. For long, actually. Is Gollum in Fortnite? I hope so, bro.
You remember seeing 2012 in theaters? I remember that too. End of the World with John Cusack. It was like the dumbest fucking movie of all time, but back then we all thought the world was actually ending. Alright, we're cruising. We're cruising. We're schmoozing. How many more we got? We got 2 more stories to go here. Okay. Thought the world was going to end in 1999. You went 590 viewers. How many do we have right now? Let's see. 459. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't really get over like the 450 mark anymore. It's like rare to even get above 500. That'd be sweet if it was, that, but it is what it is. That's why I only roam around men that read stories on YouTube. I'm Max Sit with me, Papa. I also have certain allergies from religious preaching relatives. God is our personal matter. What? We are all Joel's co-workers, that's true. I'm just a homeless guy on the street playing his guitar, and everybody who walks on the street is my colleagues. John Q's sack. Oh yeah, I need some water. Don't forget to hydrate. Damn. It's funny because it's like hydrate or dihydrate, but it's literally hydrate or dihydrate. But it's just weird because like I always thought like an indication of like hydration would just be your piss, you know what I mean? Like would just be the pee that you have and the coloration of it, and that the darker it is, the more you need to drink or whatever. But I generally never really thought that I would have issues related to hydration. I don't know. Can you imagine making a gaming channel though you'd make bank? I don't think so. I mean, to convince everyone to go over to it would be so hard because I can barely convince everyone to go over to Saturn Soul, you know what I mean? On the W Gifted, you know what I mean, on my Saturn Soul channel. So Russian words. Thank you for the gifter to Micah James. Thank you, Russia. I think her real name might be Lettuce Reed. I'm thinking it's on, you might be onto something. Saturn Soul is so good though. It is good, but it's just like, it's so annoying. Like the one, last video we made, it was like getting traction and then it got age restricted. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like this idea that like any mention of self-harm and like in anything needs to be completely just shit on and demonetized. It's like, dude, it's like you barely touch on it and it's like part of a news story essentially. I just don't understand the need to completely censor it. And then they send you some like, it's weird, it's almost like rubbing salt in the wound because they send you an email after like, are you doing okay? If you or a loved one are feeling depressed, call this number. And it's just like, get the fuck out of here. You should talk on Saturn Soul about the time traveling, maybe. Would past Joel be happy where Saturn Soul is? I think past Joel is currently current Joel as well. But, I'm glad some of the videos have popped off. It shows me that it's, still has a chance to, break something. Strauss Outdoors, thank you for the 5 gifters to Scuba Bro, WP, Smoggy, Sav, and the Doctor YouTube. Who's Saturn Soul? Saturn Soul's my true crime channel. I don't quite know how to I do promote it a decent amount, but it still seems like a lot of people don't quite know what it is. Saturn Joel. W Gifted. What's up, AXG? You see the community posts? Okay, that's good. I grew up outside of Phoenix, Arizona. We lived rough, played rough, and we were poorer than dirt and had the survival instincts to prove it. Shortly after the events of this story, I joined the Marines, and it was the making of me. I'm a different man now, with lovely kids and even lovelier grandkids. My kids will agree it's fine. And back then, though, we were rough little bastards who thought nothing and no one could knock us off our pedestals. We hadn't reckoned on... But I suppose we hadn't reckoned on any carnies. Now, I always say, if you ever want to meet men who live harder than you, play rougher than you, and show loyalty to a found family more than you ever will, then you have 3 options. Join the military, ride with a biker gang, or become a carny. Traveling carnival folk are nothing. Traveling carnival folk are like nothing else. They will literally kill for each other, and while their code of morals might differ from yours or mine, I respect and understand that. Now, I most certainly did not when the Stanfolk Family Carnival pitched up in the Poddingtons. Oh my god. I just remember it's the news talking about how a dude deleted his kid because of 2012. Oh, yikes, yeah. I remember those days too. There was some cults forming and things like that. Hey Tabby, good to see ya. Hey, see ya RLDo4QF. Be sure to change your username when you can so I can actually read it. An expanded cape welcome to the Buttersock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. I most certainly did not when the Stanfolk Family Carnival pitched up in the Poddingtons field just outside of our crap-hole little town. We saw the carnival as an excuse to go because, god damn it, I'm like losing my groove. W Goo Trick, thank you for the 2. We saw the carnival as an excuse to go cause a bit of trouble. I cannot fucking read. We saw the carnival as an excuse to go cause a bit of trouble. Maybe pick a pocket or steal a purse or two. Show what double-hard bastards we were on some of the rides to impress the chicks. And most importantly, we were absolutely determined to disprove the myth that carnival games were impossible to win. They were rigged, sure, but we were better. We'd clear them out, or so help them God, we'd make sure that they never conned another small town again. Now this was all before we even went to the carnival, mind you, so we definitely didn't just roll up there that night in my buddy's pickup with the best of attitudes. It was me, 2 of my male buddies, and then my girlfriend and her friend, who my buddy Pete, the one who owned the truck, was trying to hook up with. Now don't think that she was too interested, but that didn't stop him from trying. We tried a couple of rides, but mostly we were determined to look good to the girls and win some carny game prizes so we could get hopped up on churros and soda and headed to the game. Fuck me, man. Why am I so bad at reading people's like stream of consciousness fucking writing shit? Has anyone seen the film Last Unicorn? I've seen Last Samurai. There's a very dangerous storm hitting Northern California. The second wave, week 2, just hit. Look it up. Damn. Hitting Northern California, second wave, week 2. We tried a couple of rides, but mostly we were determined to look good to the girls and win some carny game prizes, so we got hopped up on churros and soda and headed to the games area. Now the way it worked there was that there was a prize booth where you could exchange tickets for prizes. Each carnival game let you win tickets, and then there were big signs saying, win 20 tickets here and get 50 tickets there, so it looked like things would be doubled. Doable. Why is this so fucking hard, bro? I was like cruising earlier, and this is like the grammar's even fixed on this, but I just like can't follow when people write like 9,000 words in one sentence without like some degree of hyphen or stop or so. Each carnival game let you win tickets, and there were big signs saying win 20 tickets here and get 50 tickets there, so it looked like things were doable. Me and my girlfriend wandered over to the prizes tent first, and she set her eyes on this big, fat, plush octopus. She was absolutely in love with the damn thing. This big, green, chubby dude. Big as a St. Bernard, and I can't remember it perfectly. What the fuck? She was absolutely in love with the damn thing. This big, green, chubby dude. Big as a St. Bernard. I can remember it perfectly. And it was only 100 tickets. Holy crap, I thought. That was like 2 or 3 major wins on the carnival games. Now first, I headed to the shooting range, where you had to shoot some moving metal ducks with these BB guns, and each downed duck was worth 1 ticket, and if you got 10, then you got a 10-ticket bonus. Firstly, I'm a good shot. I grew up dirt poor and with nothing to do, so shooting cans with an air rifle was an actual genuine pastime of mine. I spent $3 to get 30 shots, which was a decent amount of money back in the 70s, and I managed to down 10 total ducks. I was pretty furious because I had missed the first 4 or 5 shots due to the gun being incorrectly calibrated, a well-known carnival game trick. Now I knew this, and it still took me a while to adjust, and eventually, over the next 25 shots, I downed 10 ducks. The game attendant handed me 10 tickets with a wide-eyed look, like I'd somehow broken their all-time record. Now I was all like, "Hey buddy, I got 10 ducks though, aren't that 20 tickets? Aren't that 20 tickets?" Did this fix the grammar at all? I love the backgrounds, the musics. I discovered Enact because of you, and it's on every night to help me sleep. I've been listening to it while I work on my illustration jobs. Love what's playing tonight too. Hey, thanks, Jules. Appreciate you. Joel, would you consider reading Bible scriptures again, please? Maybe at some point. I don't know. You know what's kind of funny is I heard something today where it was like when Jesus was on the cross and like he was like, my God, why have you forsaken me?" or whatever. But it was like him referencing to the Psalms. Because then as you start from that verse in the Psalms, my God, why have you forsaken me?" It continues through and it like completely parallels exactly what happened within that biblical story. So I just thought from like a writing perspective and just a message in general, it was like a very beautiful thing. And then I say, "Hey buddy, I got 10 ducks though, aren't that 20 tickets?" And that's when he pointed out that tiny small print which stated that it had to be 10 ducks in a row and also within an individual clip. So you have to spend $1 and hit every target using the bullets from that dollar. Clearly some absolute BS designed to prevent you from basically ever getting the bonus tickets. Now next was the ring toss, and this was just straight up outright impossible. The rings were too small to fit over the boxes, another famous carny trick, and of course when you accuse them of that, they drop the ring over the box and show that no, it does fit. Yeah, it fits when you're dropping it from above, you person, but it's pretty much impossible to land a single target. The guy even gave me a free ticket for, in his words, sucking worse than anyone else he's ever seen play the game. I knew that he was trying to bait me into spending more or getting violent, but I wasn't having it. And instead, I gathered the boys together and sent them off to try and... Your first live. Hey Belgian, good to see you. Yeah, if you're new to the stream, basically we just record stories and chitty chat about really anything. In your eyes forsaken me, in your thoughts forsaken me, in your heart forsaken me. Yeah, Jesus was quoting System of a Down up on the cross. You try to rage bait me? What do you... How does one even rage bait me at all, honestly? Is it even possible? Instead, I gathered the boys together and sent them off to try winning. Okay, what the fuck? This story rage baits me. Instead, I gathered the boys together and sent them off to try winning those tickets. I could see my girl looking at me thinking, why am I with this? What the fuck, dude? Why is this so hard to comprehend? Like literally my brain was rolling so hard tonight and now I'm just like gone. Instead, I gathered the boys together and sent them off to try winning these tickets. I could see my girl looking at me like, why am I with this loser? Or at least I felt that way at the time, and I was damn well gonna get those 100 tickets I needed. I had 11. It would be doable. And here's how it went down. My buddy, who was a star baseball pitcher, managed to get a measly 4 tickets from tossing baseballs at cans. The hook-a-duck was even worse, and we got 1 ticket from that. Throwing darts at playing cards, we did well at that, only to be told afterward that the rules stated that you have to hit them in numerical order for them to count. Sure, it was written there, but put it this way. My vision was strong enough that I passed the military entrance exam flawlessly, and there was no way that I could have read that sign. We tried the baseball game for a basketball game. We tried the basketball game for a while, but it was obvious that the hoops were too small for the balls. Why we decided that we could beat the carnies at their own game, I have no idea. And at this point, we had 20 tickets, a fifth of what I needed for that octopus. Now, it was enough for a prize. We could have gotten a little toy Spider-Man or some Koopai doll or... We could have gotten a little toy Spider-Man or some doll or used the tickets for free rides. But no, I was determined to get my girl that freaking octopus, and I was about to run out of money. I made one last attempt. I persuaded my friend to take my girl elsewhere, and then went crawling to the prize tent and begged them to let me just buy the octopus from them. I had $20 left in my name for my paycheck, and that was meant to last for almost a month, and I offered them the entire $20. The carny in charge of the prize tent laughed in my face. He told me that he'd been... Lock in. Lock the fuck in! He told me that he'd been my age once, and he knew the value of impressing a chick. But his dad, who ran the carnival, would kick his ass if he sold it to me for $100, let alone $20. He was trying to be nice. I know he was, but I was an arrogant little crap, so what I did was turn, point at the Ferris wheel, and yell, "Holy crap, that ride's on fire!" And the prize tent guy instinctively turned, just for a second, and I shoved him over, leaped the counter, grabbed the octopus, and then off I was running. I screamed at my friends to follow me, that we had to get back to the truck. They saw me hooning it down the fairway, waving this giant octopus plushie over my head, and they knew crap was about to go down. And suddenly, I stopped in my tracks. This huge guy holding a chain stood in front of me, and I could see this corporate-looking name tag stuck to his leather jacket that read Stan Stanfolk, and I guessed he was the owner. He accused me of trying to take off with his octopus, and I said I wouldn't have this if this carnival games weren't rigged and if they had any honor. And this is how I know carnies do have honor. They just see the carnies. Small fingers smell like cabbage. Reminds me of that one commenter who wanted you to read his comment. Yeah, now that was a successful rage bait. Just because I literally couldn't comprehend what was going through his head. Give me the fucking elephant! They just see those of us who play their game as entertaining and... oh my god. They just see those of us who play their game as entering into a tacit agreement to be screwed, I guess. I've since talked to other carnies about this, including a couple I met in the service, and I feel like I understand where these guys were coming from a lot more now. I didn't at the time, though. Stan Stanfolk was so incensed at me calling a spade that he told me he and his family were going to chain us up behind their bikes and drag us through our podunk little town until we were begging for our lives. And then chaos broke out behind me. My buddies had taken it upon themselves to start smashing up the rig booths until whatever they could get their hands on, garbage cans, benches, baseball bats from one of the games, all sorts of stuff. Stanfolk and the carnies had no idea who to go after first. As he was momentarily distracted, I shoulder charged him and snatched the chain from him, and then I ran to the offending shooting gallery and slammed the chain down into the counter. Now, all in all, I don't think we did that much damage, but we did enough so that in our minds we'd caused the carnies who'd been ripping off honest folk a decent hit to their income. Why does that not flow right? We caused the carnies who'd been ripping off honest folk a decent hit to their... I guess that is normal. I am very badass. It's true. This guy is pretty badass. All in all, I don't think we did that much damage, but we did enough so that in our minds, we'd caused the carnies who'd been ripping off honest folk a decent hit to their income. And like I say, I see things differently now, and I think it was our own damn fault for willingly playing games that we knew we couldn't win and deciding that we deserved to win anyway. Maybe others will disagree and think that the carnies got what they deserve. All I'm going to add to this is, after I joined the military and had a wage, Stan Folks Traveling Carnival received a small, mysterious donation every month from an unknown source. Now back to the story though, me and the buds floored it. I grabbed my girl and practically carried her to the truck, leaping into the back with her and her friend. Pete got into the driver's seat and our other buddy in the passengers, and we kicked dust and flew out of there. We were not home free though. At least 3 or 4 carnies on motorcycles began chasing us and shouting things we couldn't hear, but they were certainly threats, I would think. And the chase felt like it went on for hours, but it couldn't have been that long. And this is where I made my fatal mistake though. Being a cocky a-hole, I semi-stood up in the back of the bed of the truck and waved the plush octopus at them as if to taunt them. And I freaking lost my hold on the thing, and it flew off of my hands and into the desert. Oops. Here comes small English. Good sir, I imagine every storyteller look like Swamp. I hope you are a lean thing like him. Doctor say less weight is good health. Hell yeah, brother. We gotta stay lean by drinking lean. Joe, I'm getting sleepy, so I'm gonna attempt to get some sleep before work tomorrow, so I'm headed. I appreciate the input on the channel. I'll listen to the rest of it when you post it. Hey, thank you, Stylish. Good to see you. Sleep well. Carnival. And I freaking lost my hold of the thing, and it flew out of my hands and off into the desert. All that effort, and I'd lost the goddamn octopus anyways. Now eventually the carnies clearly gave up, knowing that they'd come off worse to us than if the law enforcement gotten. Oops. Eventually the carnies clearly gave up, knowing they'd come off worse than us if the law got involved, and surprisingly, they did report an a-hole of... And unsurprisingly, they did report our act of vandalism, and the next day the traveling fair had mysteriously left town. Me and my buddies tried to backtrack over the route that we'd traveled during the chase, but there was no sign of that freaking octopus. The girl that I'd been trying to impress broke up with me that next day. Needless to say, she was not impressed by someone who flew off the handle and smashed up a carnival just to steal her a toy. And last I heard, she'd married someone in software, I guess. Now, like I said, I'm a very different guy now. I'm ashamed of that night, and I'm sure there's a carny out there, probably the owner's son that I shoved and stole the octopus from, who tells the same event as his own scary story of the night a group of Arizona rednecks smashed up their carnival. And I can't say I'd blame him. All I know is the military set me right, and I avoided any real legal trouble in my idiot youth, and for both of those things, I'm deeply grateful. And for any carnival folk out there or any fellow Marines, Semper Fi, fam. The carnival folk are Semper Fi. Bro-in-law gazing at me, and I recognize because you told observe extra nicely behaving man, thank you. Now, you're bound to hear all things I understand in people because of your teaching. Yep, like totally. I feel bad to say I don't know what you're talking about. If you want, you can put your like English that you write into like Google and it'll fix it for you. Or like you can type it in your native tongue and then put it into Google and it will translate it and then you can put it in. I just feel bad. I don't really know what your English is saying. Hey Derek, what's up, broski? We're on our last story here. The Kardashians. USMC does stand for Uncle Sam's Magical Circus. That's funny. I'm doing another playthrough of System Shock 2. I beat it in impossible difficulty, so now I get to play on easy. Joey should play it one day. I heard it was good, yeah. Hey Joe, I don't know if you're able to ask, but how do you choose what your next video will be about, and have you thought about making a poll viewers can choose what your next video... I mean, I definitely take into consideration what you guys are looking for, but sometimes it's just like comes down to story availability and like whether or not my editors can dig through the emails and find things that match like a specific thing. No tea break tonight? I don't think so. If anything, I should make some coffee, because I'm probably gonna just edit this tonight and try to get the video up by, well, not like released by tonight, but scheduled by tonight. Dow Jones, me laddie. Is it going up? We going up? Thank Christ, right? Who cares about all the evil things happening and the worship of Baal? How do you keep from losing your voice? I guess just because I talk in like a lower tone, so it's not as like much of a strain. Am I busy tomorrow? Yeah, I just got training, and then people want to go to dinner. But I'm going to have to be like really careful about what I eat tomorrow. I'm going to have to eat like super clean. Just too smooth with it. Dow Jones. Dowie Jones Locker. Oh shit, are we collapsing inward? Oh no, we're going up. We're at record highs. 50,000. If you inflate the economy, you can just keep making it go up, 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 up. I made some spaghetti and it was fully cooked, but I cooked it with some cream after draining the water, and it made it kind of hard again. Fuck. Here comes another one. My sister is brown Indian skin. I am light-toned face features. Look like you guys. I look like imported from England. No wonder her husband stares at me like I'm TV show. What are you talking about? I thought you were a tea person and a coffee hater. Well, honestly, I might just drink water tonight. I don't know. I'm so paranoid about the gallbladder issue. I just really don't want to fuck myself up and get pancreatitis or some shit. Apple juice. I mean, I heard, yeah, people were saying lemon. I don't even know. Alright. Anyways. Last story here. What's good, Jorge? How you doing? I have a date. No. Just going out with my buddy and his kids. They want to go to this like Chinese buffet that's like outside of town, but I don't know. They love the place, but I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna eat there, because it's all just gonna be like sloppy piles of crap. You had your gallbladder out a few years ago. Don't put it off. It almost killed me. Oh my god, dude. That's so sad. So frustrating, man. Maybe I can't. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Long time listener for 10 years. I've practically run out of your videos now. Listen to your live streams. Thank you for all the stories. Help me at night. Best nerve ever. Thank you, Maz. It's good to see you. How about Shia LaBeouf at Mardi Gras? I saw he was like getting riled and getting beat up by some people. Honestly, at this point, I'm not really too surprised, I guess, but anything that what's his name does, Shia LaBeouf, he just seems like he's always kind of been on a downhill trajectory. I do feel bad for him. I don't know. I thought he joined like some religion or something more recently, but it seems like his brain is kind of just like actually fucked up. What they tell you about your gallbladder, I might have to check it in mine now as well. I mean, so basically what happened was like I drank, well, I haven't been eating great, but it's like it's also not terrible. But Monday I went out, like I ate in the morning, went to like work out later, and then just didn't really eat anything until I was out with friends, and we were just drinking. I just drank beers the whole time, trying not to, get too drunk or whatever. And then, but I guess I was dehydrated because whenever I was on my way home, I picked up some wraps from a gas station. There would seem to be like healthy wraps, right? But then I just had like this feeling under my right rib that extended into my back, and it was like the worst pain I'd ever felt. And then I'm pretty sure I had like a gallbladder attack, and it's just like, fuck, man. My mother-in-law is gone. Gastro doc. They can give you something to soothe it when it gets too bad. Your mother-in-law died from gallbladder stuff, or? Avoid dark alcohols, lights all the way, and it won't be as bad. Oh, lemon water helps. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to drink anymore. I didn't even really, it was just so stupid. I never drink, and then I just do it one time, and I guess just dehydrate myself or fuck up my liver or something. I don't know, maybe you had food poisoning from something you ate, gas. Yeah, I mean, I ran through those thoughts, but it was mainly just like the consistencies with the area that it hurt, the timing, you know what I mean, and then the back that I felt, and then it going away over time, and then on top of that, it was like I said before, it's gross, but like after the day after, my stool was like, lighter colored, which means that it had like, unprocessed fat within the stool or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So just a lot of assumptions, but they could be appendix. Yeah, I think the appendix is like lower right, and this was like upper. Or am I wrong? Yeah, I think the appendix is in like the lower abdomen. This was like right under the upper right rib. I've worked in medical field for the better part of 30 years. Not a doctor, unfortunately. It's okay. Have you had an attack before? No, this is the first time I've ever had it, so I'm just like, what the fuck? I've had back pain here and there. Can it really be a goddamn gallbladder? Definitely had to check it out soon. I mean, if it happened after like eating or something of that nature. Yeah, I think like having just this like one circumstance, I definitely feel like I can reel it in and figure it out without having to have any sort of surgical intervention. It's gallbladder causes pancreatic issues when it isn't emptying correctly. Oh shit. Yeah, so I'm trying to stay on top of shit. Maybe I'll just like schedule an appointment here and just at least get looked at. So this happened to my grandma, but she's given me permission to share it with you because I think it's a creepy story people should know. She narrated it to me, so I'm writing her words down, but I wanted to preface this so it makes sense why an 83-year-old woman is sending you a story. I mean, maybe you have a lot of 83-year-old female listeners, but I don't see them in the comments that often, so I assume not. Now anyways, I was a fine young filly in the 1960s. At least that's what the men folk said. So beautiful that I could win prizes, they said. And so I says to them, well, why can't I? Don't we have a state beauty pageant? My folks were against it at first, but as soon as I turned 18, they let me enter. And surprise upon surprise, these men hadn't just been flattering me to get under my petticoats, for which I might add, they would have had to have had my hand in marriage first. I really did have the looks that could win prizes, apparently. I made it to the state finals, and it was an absolute honor, and it was part of the state's grand fair, and this was back in 1967. There were 3 judges, the state governor, the mayor of town in which the finals were being held, and a local businessman who did something with oil. All of these men were perfect gentlemen. I have nothing but... I have emptying issues. Came into the live only to find out I need to get checked out ASAP. Yeah, fuck. Have you had gallstones before? No. I just don't see it coming out of nowhere if you haven't had issues before. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe this was the first time. I think it was just like rest is key. Yeah, that makes sense. I think it really just came down to like, being so dehydrated maybe. I have no idea. I have nothing. I can't read worth shit. Fuck. I have nothing but nice things to say about how all 3 of these men treated us girls. They made us feel like beauty was something to be proud of, not something tawdry, and honestly, the whole thing was a lot more wholesome and respectful than you hear about in the average beauty pageant. I don't think that I could have seen it through to the state finals if I'd been nothing but a sex object. Now, this event is what killed it all for me, though, and it was thanks to the most unlikely of sources. There were 5 of us girls, and we were all local winners, so we were all used to the game and all very nice to one another. We were prepping for our first round, which was a catwalk round. We were prepping for our first round, which was a catwalk round wearing dresses. A catwalk round wearing... We were prepping for our first round, which was a catwalk round wearing dresses from a local dressmaker. We were in our drawers when the door burst open and the man stood there. He was a bit on the muscular side, with long hair and, I remember, a very attractive jawline. He said he was the sheriff's deputy. Us girls, we were all 18, got a bit shy of course and started covering up, and the deputy laughed and told us not to worry. It wasn't anything he hadn't seen before. He had a wife and 2 daughters around our age, and that should have rung alarm bells by itself. Now anyways, he said a prowler had been seen in the area, trying to peer in through the dressing room windows, which was a tiny little thing, 8 feet high, and we'd certainly see nobody. Man. The entire body is connected. If one thing is off balance, the rest will follow suit. I'm a first responder, EMS. I'm not all-knowing, but it's free medical advice, triage style anyways. I mean, if I just, stick to, a low-fat diet, try to eat clean, and just monitor how it feels, I presume, and just stay hydrated and shit, I presume things will start to kind of just get back to normal, right? Or, I don't know. Thought Brazil and Trinidad Carnival. No, not quite. Just your local fairgrounds. Do I have a smartwatch? I do not, no. Anyway, he said a prowler had been seen in the area, trying to peer in through the dressing room window, which was a tiny little thing 8 feet high, and we'd certainly seen nobody peering in there. And so we uncomfortably put our dresses on while the deputy unashamedly and openly watched us. And over the next 3 months, he was there every time, watching us, undressing us with his eyes while we were forced to actually undress in front of him. And then finally, it's the swimsuit round, and of course, to change for this, we have to get fully naked. Surely the deputy wouldn't be there for that. But he was. One of the more outspoken girls told him that she wasn't comfortable with his presence, and he got a little angry. He whipped out his badge and asked if her, and asked, low fat, avoid green veggies when in distress. Green veggies, really? Damn. No sugar juices as well. Yeah, fuck. I guess I'll just fucking jump off a cliff. Substitute soda for water, other healthy drinks. I haven't drank soda for 15 years, feels good. It's like quitting alcohol. Yeah, I definitely need to just get away from fizzy drinks completely. And I have in this past day or so. It's felt good. So no anything, yeah. Just eat like a bodybuilder, rice, chicken, and broccoli. And fish. He whipped out his badge and asked her if she really wanted to risk her place in the competition, or even face obstruction of justice by posing as a problem. Now, of course, none of this really rang true, but we were in a rush for the final round of the competition. And after a quick whisper, what we did was this. One of us changed while the other 4 blocked her from view, and we repeated that 4 times. The deputy was clearly furious about this, but what could he actually do? He had no legal precedent to command us to show him our naked bodies. And so we performed the final stage of the competition. The girl who'd spoken out against the deputy actually won, and I came third, all of which I was thrilled about. And when we went back to change a final time, the deputy was thankfully gone, and we changed back into our regular clothes to mingle with the judges and audience. Now, a couple of us girls met the sheriff and mentioned the deputy being present the whole time, and he got very quiet. We pushed him on what was wrong, and he asked us if we were absolutely sure. Only it was the deputy's first day and he hadn't checked in for work. He was due to work security at the pageant and had a certain not...
I feel like cranberry juice is the best tasting for all sugar-free drinks.
I figured cranberry would have some sugar in it. Do I have any psychopathic tendencies? What do you mean? Like killing people and burying their bodies? They irritate the lining of the gallbladder, the green veggies. So is there just like no going back to like what I was before? Like I just basically have to be like a low fat, low irritable diet just forever, or I die. Only it was the deputy's first day, and he hadn't checked in for work. He was due to work security at the pageant, but he had certainly not been authorized to be present in our dressing room, and there had been no reports of a prowler. He asked us to describe the deputy, and we did, and the sheriff went pale and said that didn't sound anything like the new deputy, who was his nephew, a pretty large red-headed guy. Now later they found that psychopathic tendencies, and they include stinky breath. I don't think so. If your breath stink, you're a murderer. If Ted Bundy was chewing gum, he could have gotten away with a lot more kills. Get it removed if that is the issue. Won't you regret it? I haven't eaten one day. Dude, fuck all that. I can't, man. I can't allow anyone into my temple. They'll find the robot parts. Wouldn't that be interesting to find out that you're actually a cyborg when people go to do surgery on you? Later, they found the deputy. He stumbled in from the wilderness, his ankles and wrists tied together, wearing only a vest and his undergarments. He'd been knocked unconscious, stripped, and had his uniform and firearm stolen. And the firearm was later found discarded in a garbage bin near the hall where the pageant was held. Now, one final twist to the story, and this part I can't be too sure about. By 1978, I had a family. Mental disorders can cause gastrointestinal distress when in crisis. Yeah, maybe I was out drinking. I was just like really horny and went nuts. Had a tummy ache. Ted Bundy worked at the crisis line where I worked at. He was apparently excellent at his job. Be more like Ted. He always showed up on time. I've got so much metal in me. I have to travel with paperwork for metal detectors. I was in and out in less than 24 hours. Yeah. Just keep living, hydrate, and if you feel uncomfortable with the problem, get medical advice. There's 8 seconds, way too much self-help crap out there. You know your body, bro. Yeah, true. True. But I do trust you guys. I appreciate you guys' input, honestly. It's one of those things where it's, it's so different to me that it's just a bit scary. Now one final twist to the story, and this is the part that I can't be sure about. By 1978, I had a family and a husband, and at this point a young son. My husband and I were watching an episode of a favorite show of ours when I suddenly pointed at the screen and yelled, "That's him." My husband asked who, and I said that I was sure as shells were shells that one of the contestants on this game show was the fake deputy from the beauty pageant terror. My husband laughed about this, and so did I. Realistically, what chance was there that a guy who knocked out a sheriff's deputy and then faked being him just to creep on women in the 60s was a contestant on the dating game on the 13th of September 1978? And like I said, I can't be sure. But all I'll say is that when I identified him, all I believed I was looking at was a contestant on the dating game, a contestant they introduced as Rodney Alcala. Now, the more I think about it as time goes on, I do think the creep who perved on me just looked like him, but there's still a chance, a terrifying chance, that a fake deputy was met. So wait, but didn't this guy look at them for over the course of like multiple weeks or something? So you're telling me the deputy that he knocked out in the woods was tied up out in the woods for like, and knocked out for days? Like, wouldn't he be dead? You can beat my issues away. I could use a good beating, honestly. But there's still a chance, a terrifying chance, that the fake deputy we met was the dating game killer. Alright, well, oh wow, 3 hours, that's kind of like a record, I would say. Not a complete record, but certainly a better record than normal. She said it was one day and the new guy's first day. Yeah, I have no fucking clue. Who fucking knows? Alright. Outro script. You guys want to think of something funny for me to say? Yeah, these were interesting. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and there are super fun live streams on Sundays and Wednesday nights. If you got a story, be sure to submit them over at my email at letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com, and you might even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks for members of the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories and big compilations located anywhere you listen to podcasts. I also have a true crime channel called Saturn Soul. All links for these are down below in the description. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, jelly roll soup. Does anyone know what the number 1 next to my name means? It means you run the show. You've gotten the most internet points for the day. What do we do, guys? And remember what? Don't boil your noodles in milk. There you go. The best things happen in the dark. Remember, I have a channel called Saturn Soul. Go watch it. Wait, what did someone say up here? Don't boil your noodles in milk. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, don't boil your noodles in milk. Oh, shit. Alright, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. Hopefully things get better. Otherwise, I'll get this up and edited over on Patreon. It's only $1 a month over there for early access to all future videos, audio. And then I'll get it up tonight at 9 p.m. EST. Look out for Carnival Fairground Stories. And yeah, that's how I've been. I've been okay. I've just been, dealing with this shit. We'll figure it out, though. God has plans for me, as they say. But anyways, I'll be back streaming. What day is today? I'll be back streaming Sunday. So hopefully I can catch you guys this weekend if you're on. Otherwise, follow my Instagram at letsread.official to be kept up to date when I go live on my story. But love you guys, appreciate you. Stay well, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.